We would like to do some introductions, first of all, with the members of the Transportation Commission. Let's start with you, Bruce, and we'll just kind of go down the row here.
Thank you. My name is Bruce Adams. I live in Monticello. I am a representative of Region 4, which is 14 counties out of 29, so half of the state is my responsibility.
Very good. Good morning, Natalie Gochner. I work at the University of Utah, live in Murray, represent Region 2, which is Tooele, Salt Lake, and Summit counties.
Commissioner Kevin Van Tassel. I live in Vernal, Utah. I'm a commissioner at large for the state of Utah.
Commissioner Brad D. I'm also a commissioner at large, living in Weber County area.
And my name is Tom Jacobson. I'm a commissioner at large, and I live in Park City, Utah.
Thank you. I'm Jim Evans. I'm the commission represent Region 3. So it's good to be home in my region today for our meeting, and grateful to be with you. Carlos, we'd love to have you introduce our UDOT staff.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. Carlos Braceros, Executive Director, Utah Department of Transportation. Let's go, Jordan, to you, and then we'll go to Ben.
Jordan with the Communications Group with UDOT.
Ben Hewitt, Planning and Investment.
Let's see.
Communications to Region 3.
Andrew Jordan, Region 3.
Andrew Gwynn, Region 3.
Boyd Humphreys, Region 3 Deputy Director.
Patrick Kelly with Traffic and Safety.
Bob Pelley, I'm the STIP Coordinator.
Jacob Petty, Region 2 Planning Manager.
Eric Buell, Trails Division.
Rob White, Region 1 Director.
Christopher Chestnut, Transit Division. Jeff Lewis, Region 3 Planning Manager.
Elizabeth McMillan, Director of Communications.
Grant Potter, UDOT Communications.
Jim Gould with the Transit Division.
Kurt Thornock, Region 4 Director.
Kendall Draney, Region 2 Program Manager.
Robert Stewart, Region 2 Director.
Carmen Swan with Project Development.
Tiffany Pocock, Program Development.
Josh Manjura, Trails and Transit.
Maybe Ivan, our federal, why don't you two introduce our federal great partners that come.
Ivan Marrero, Division Administrator for the Federal Highway Administration.
Brigitte Mandel, Deputy Division Administrator.
Wonderful. And Mayor Mendenhall, we're grateful to have you here. Since we're in your beautiful room, I just want to give you a second introduction, just to come up, anything you want to say to the commission this morning, just in way of from Spanish Fork City here.
I think they have me in a minute to say a few thank yous to you specifically for projects this way, but I just want to say thank you for being down here in Spanish Fork and in South Utah County. Your leadership and your partnership in getting us to be able to move around down here is just of the utmost importance. And so we welcome you to the home of Pride and Progress, and you're welcome to use our facilities anytime. So thank you.
I look forward to your presentation as part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Speaking of that, we're going to jump right in to the local area presentation, and Boyd Humphreys will be kicking it off for Region 3. You might want to let them know where our regional director is today.
Yeah. Well, good morning, commissioners. Good to be here. I'm Boyd Humphreys. I'm the Region 3 Deputy Director. I'm filling in for Rob Clayton today. His daughter's getting married, so he couldn't be here. But welcome to Region 3. We're glad to be here in the region, and also want to say thanks to our partners in Spanish Fork City in hosting today. They're great partners. And with that, we want to, as we get into this presentation, as always, we want to thank you, commissioners, for your role in funding and programming our projects. And that's what we're going to talk to you today about, is some of the projects that you have funded. And we're going to start off with Andrew Gwynn. He's the region program manager, and he's going to talk about some of the projects here in the southern part of the county. Some of these are ones we actually drove through on the tour yesterday. We'll then hear from Andrew Jordan. He's the Northwest Utah County Project Director. So you've programmed over $2 billion in Northwest Utah County, and he's overseeing that program. So he's going to give us an update of the projects there. And then we will hear from Brandon Weston. He's the Environmental Director for UDOT, and he's also overseeing the Northwest Utah County PEL study that you've recently approved, and he's going to give us an update on that project. So with that, we'll turn the time over to Andrew Gwynn.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Gwynn, Region 3 Program Manager. Some of these are ones that we drove through yesterday, a couple of them are ones that we didn't. So we've got 14 projects that we're going to highlight. So I'll hit the first 12, and then like Boyd said, Andrew Jordan will take number 13, and Brandon Weston will do number 14. So a couple of these, we're going to start kind of with the recently completed, and then ones in progress in construction, and finally kind of future projects. So this one was one of the ones that we drove through yesterday. This is US 6 through down kind of main section of Spanish Fork and up to the mouth of the canyon. This one, we essentially were widening along US 6 between Expressway Lane and Canyon Creek Parkway, adding some additional left turns at Canyon Creek Parkway and Expressway Lane as well to improve the overall traffic flow through this area, added dual lefts at each of those intersections on all four legs, and just overall improve the traffic flow through this section with all the growth that's happened with development and other things through that area. Our next project, we saw this one yesterday as well. This is the Spanish Fork Center Street environmental study. This environmental assessment recommended a new interchange here and kind of looked at the alternatives and the connections there, working with UTA for future UTA stations and kind of connections out to the west as well for development around this future interchange. A few projects that are in construction. This one, a press release actually went out on this project yesterday. They're going to be starting this one up soon. This is to add median barrier through 3 different sections in Spanish Fork Canyon between Diamond Fork and the Thistle Junction. The work is anticipated to start in the next week or so, and then this project we're anticipating to be done by the end of this year. It'll improve safety, some of those crossover accidents that we've had in Spanish Fork Canyon. We saw this one yesterday as well. This is our Springville Spanish Fork Dry Creek Parkway interchange. This one we're adding northbound on-ramp and then a northbound off-ramp and southbound off-ramp. This is the one that, because of the proximity to US 6, we couldn't add a southbound on-ramp, but with the proximity to US 6, it is pretty accessible still. We also are widening Dry Creek Parkway, 1600 north, 2700 south, between the freeway, I guess, all the way out to Main Street and SR 51. It'll be 5-lane section there, and you can see that cross section. This is split up into phases, so a lot of the construction's kind of been simultaneous, but for our intents and purposes, it's been kind of a phased project. Some upcoming projects, we've got the US 6 Chicken Hollow to Tie Fork. This one's a widening along with some safety improvements and pavement preservation through this area. So between milepost 194 and 197, we're going to widen it out so that there's 5 lanes. There are some sections of this that also get some median barrier, some improvements in the shoulder barrier. Again, kind of part of that investment in US 6 and trying to improve safety. We're anticipating work to start later this fall and carry into next year. This is another one on US 6. This is one that's come to the Commission a couple different times, and we appreciate your support on this project. This is at US 6 and US 89. It's going to provide a grade-separated interchange there. US 89 will actually stay low and go under US 6 and provide on-ramps and off-ramps at each of those movements to improve the safety here. We've seen multiple fatalities at this intersection over the years, and so this is going to be a great project to improve the safety at this busy intersection. This connects down to Fairview and some of those areas to the south. It's still in design. We're anticipating advertising kind of early next year and construction to begin next year and carry probably into 2027. The Nebo Beltway interchange, we saw this one yesterday as well. This one is a phased project as well. So our first phase is all that section in orange. It's building part of the interchange and the structures over the railroad and I-15, as was discussed yesterday, and then building a partial section of the Nebo Beltway out to SR 198. Further out phases is looking at kind of a ramp structure or coordinated ramps between Main Street and the Nebo Beltway interchange, and those future improvements haven't been funded, but we look forward to the time that funding comes and we're able to kind of connect those two projects and provide a full interchange, kind of coordinated interchanges here down in Payson. The Sharp-Tintic Railroad consolidation, we saw this one yesterday as well. This one, the orange is proposed to be removed. We will deactivate that line, remove 6 crossings on the Tintic line through Springville, and then make the connection in blue between the Tintic line and the Sharp line. This coordinates with UTA's Front Runner South project to extend Front Runner down. And their plan is to utilize that Tintic line for a lot of their stations. Just north of here is where the proposed Springville station would be, and these rail consolidations will help improve safety through this section as well, allowing for the removal of those at-grade crossings. The Provo Sub is also one we discussed yesterday, another rail consolidation project. This one is the Provo Sub 1 and the Provo Sub 2. So the one in red currently runs pretty much parallel with US 6 through a lot of that. We've got crossings at quite a few pieces or intersections with US 6 there. So this one will actually abandon 7 miles of rail and eliminate 19 crossings through Springville, Spanish Fork, and Mapleton. And then this allows us to, it's necessary for the future connection between Dry Creek Parkway, where it ends, and pushing that all the way over to US 89 in the future. The Benjamin Environmental, we drove through this one yesterday as well. We're completing the study, or just about to begin the study, to evaluate the potential needs here, kind of look at how that interchange will change with the opening of Loafer Mountain Parkway, and just looking at future growth there and the recommended alternative for that interchange. I think we touched on this one yesterday. We didn't go this far south, but the Santaquin Main Street interchange, this was an environmental study that we recently completed. This one and the next project were both part of that study. But this looked at reconstructing the Main Street interchange in Santaquin, realigning SR 198 for a portion on the east side. Its proximity today is quite a bit closer to I-15, so pushing that out so that the traffic operations work a little bit better. But really it's a very similar interchange today, just with more capacity and with all the growth that's happening down in the Santaquin area as well. And then the last project that I'm going to highlight is I-15 Santaquin to Payson. So this one will widen I-15 from Payson 8th South all the way down to milepost 239, just south of the Utah-Juab County line. It's going to add a third lane to I-15, extend that 3-lane section further south. Again, with all the growth that we've seen in Santaquin, we're starting to see some congestion on I-15 through this section. It'll upgrade the existing structures, barrier, guardrail, sign structures, all of that's included as part of that project. And with that, I will turn the time over to Andrew Jordan for Northwest Utah County. Thanks
Andrew.
Commissioner.
A question for you, perhaps, Andrew, please.
Yeah,
Bruce.
I want to thank you for the work you're doing on Highway 6. Those of us who live on the eastern side of the state in Region 4 have to deal with Highway 6 from Helper up to Spanish Fork, and these improvements are going to be fantastic. I'm going to get a lot of credit for them just because I'm the new guy, but even though I didn't have anything to do with it, people on the eastern side of Region 4 think I'm going to come here and get all kinds of things done with the commissions. So I really appreciate you addressing those safety needs at Sheep's Creek and at Thistle. They've been needed for a long time, and it's something that we really appreciate. And thank you so much for addressing those needs.
Yeah, and there's going to be a continued focus there. I'm sure Carlos can speak to that as well, but we do have future projects on US 6. We are looking at other areas to improve and how we can make that corridor safer. So we appreciate your support as well, Commissioner Adams.
Just keep it up. You got my support.
Okay. Any other questions on those projects? We do have time for other questions at the end as well, but.
Okay. Like, yeah, that Thistle thing, you got to just, when you're going back towards the city, you got to look and gun it and hope that no one's coming around the corner. So
it's a gamble.
That'll be a great thing to have there.
Yeah.
Thanks. Andrew.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Andrew Jordan. I'm the project director for the Northwest Utah County Program of Projects. That is a series of 4 funded projects and several future unfunded projects that we have in the areas of Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, and American Fork. It's been about 6 months or so since I've been in front of you to give you an update on what our program has accomplished, so we felt this was a good time with you being in Region 3 to give you an update on that. The project that is currently under construction is the Mountain View Corridor project from 2100 North to Porter Rockwell Boulevard. That's the orange project on the highlighted map. That project is, I'm happy to report, progressing really well. We're at or ahead of schedule to complete in April of next year. We have 2 remaining structures we need to finish. One of those is being set today. Those are the truss pit bridge structures, one over 2100 North and one over Porter Rockwell. One will be set today and another one towards the end of the month, which will finish out all the structures on the project. And we're currently paving around 1,500 to 1,800 cubic yards a day of concrete pavement going down. And over half of the trail system has also been paved. So we're making very good progress. The weather has been nice for us, and we've been progressing very well. The next project I'd like to update you on is the Pioneer Crossing Flex Lanes project. If you remember, this project is introducing flex lanes along Pioneer Crossing from American Fork to Saratoga Springs over to Redwood Road, which will give us added capacity in the peak hours. 4 lanes in one direction, 2 lanes in the other, and then during off-peak times, it'll give us 3 lanes in each direction. So that project has been awarded. W.W. Clyde was the company that won that project, and their plan to start that construction the week after Labor Day and finish by fall of next year. So that you'll see more updates on that as we progress construction there. But so that's that one. The next one I would like to update you on is the Pioneer Crossing Freeway project, also highlighted in green on the map. The 2100 North Freeway project will tie into where we're leaving off with the Mountain View Corridor project there in orange over to I-15 and provide system interchanges at both I-15 and the Mountain View Corridor. We are currently coming towards the end of our procurement phase in that project. We will be receiving technical proposals from our contractors the week after Labor Day as well. And then their bid proposals will come in 3 weeks later, and we plan to select a contractor the 1st of October. Once that selection has happened, we plan on construction actually beginning the 1st of the year. And then the other current funded project is the Mountain View Corridor / Quarry Ride Freeway piece. That is currently on schedule to select a program management team summer of next year, which will start an update to the environmental document and an area study to make sure we got the right scope for that project. So that's the major updates for the program. Is there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, as I told you before, I took a tour once of that concrete being laid. I'd never seen that before, and that was amazing. Impressive how fast they put that down, and so thank you for that opportunity. please.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner and members of the Commission. My name is Brandon Weston, and I'm going to be the project manager for what we're calling the Northern County PEL study. So PEL is a process by which we can take a look at down to the corridor level or even at an area level and take a look at future land use, future transportation needs, and the benefit of PEL is we are able to roll those decisions directly into environmental without any backup. So we'll be able to come up with a purpose and need. We'll be able to eliminate unreasonable alternatives and move those into environmental and not have to deal with those eliminated alternatives again. So it should save a lot of time on the back end. The main problem is, as you saw with the slide before, is there's a huge rate of growth out in northern Utah County. And this study is going to be a proactive study to create a unified long-term transportation plan to get ahead of the growth curve and prepare for the future. So the study means to answer several critical questions and come up with a plan with prioritized and actionable alternatives. So we're going to take a look at full build-out and what the transportation system will need to look like to support the region as it reaches full build-out, and come up with the right mix of solutions, both transit, roadway, and active transportation to try to meet those needs. Some of the key infrastructure decisions that we're going to be looking at are the crossing of Utah Lake and the North Shore Lake facility. We're going to determine a cost and location for the lake crossing, as well as take a look at the feasibility of the North Lake Shore facility. So the approach is going to be data-driven, and we'll use the current conditions and forecast future demand based on projected land use, growth, and population growth. And we're going to do this collaboratively with our partners at MAG, the cities, Utah County, and of course UTA. The process is also going to have a flexibility to it to where if we identify a project and it looks like it's ready to go and it needs to move a little faster, there'll be the ability to off-ramp that project, and it could start its own path and start maybe even the NEPA process if that's the decision that's made. And again, the deliverable will include a list of projects, each with their own purpose and need, and the screened alternatives, and a clear strategy for those projects on how they can move forward into implementation. Where we are today, we're currently in the procurement phase. We're going to have a solicitation out in a month or so, and we should be able to get started in November. Any questions?
Any questions, Commission?
No, I think it's really important.
That means that the flex lanes on Pioneer is kind of just a little temporary thing. It's needed until we can figure out what we need to do next, huh?
Maybe a longer-term solution for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Sure, please.
Just an observation. Some of us remember when there was nothing out there, and I think one of the hard wake-up calls is, and many of us will never probably see all the improvements, is to define those corridors and do them now so we don't run into some of the problems that other urban areas have. And so I want to commend you guys really on trying to get ahead of the game out there. I know it's very tough to stay ahead of all the development, but thank you. And these look like some really great plans.
Great, thank you.
I just asked, it looks like questions for Boyd, for any of them. Any questions or comments that anyone has on any of the things we've seen from the Region 3 presentation? Thank you, Boyd and team. Well done, and roll up your sleeves and just keep working. Lots out there. Well, I'd like to say, please, Kevin.
I'm out on the eastern part of Region 3, and yesterday we opened up the new road doing away with the switchbacks. And I'm surprised the chatter that's out on Facebook. So it's going to be well received. We're going to save some lives. It's not done yet, but anyway, that's just a great, I think as far as I know, it's the first joint public partnership we've had of that size. So anyway, just for a report.
Thanks, Kevin. Carlos, any comments on that?
Well, no, we've statewide we've had other public-private partnerships. I mean, just up the street here at University Avenue, we did a public-private partnership with Novell back there when we first built that interchange in the late 90s. And so we've done them across the state before, but up in this area, yes, this is the first one.
And those are wonderful to have to maximize the resources. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, great presentation. Okay, we'd like to go to the public comments now, I believe, Carlos, right? And we're going to do something a little different. Usually we have the folks online go at the end, but because we have one of our mayors is back east, I think, and taking one of their children to college or something, we're going to, if we could, Heather, get that set up, we're going to have Salt Lake City Mayor Mendenhall. If you're there, Mayor, we'd love to give you some time to make any comments you'd like to make at this time. And we're working on hearing her. There we go, popping up. You'll check on that. And
We only see one person in the call right now, so.
okay, will you alert me when we see her pop up? Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go. We'll go to the any others that are on the call. Okay, let's go with Tammy Hunsaker, Salt Lake City Department of Community and Neighborhoods. Tammy, if you're there, we'd love to have you take a minute with your comments.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to submit public comment on the S-Line extension. My name is Tammy Hunsaker. I'm the Director of the Department of Community and Neighborhoods for Salt Lake City and wholeheartedly support the S-Line extension project. Salt Lake City is one of the fastest growing cities in the state, and Sugar House is one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in the city. The area is thriving with new residents and business patrons abound. Several mixed-use buildings have recently been constructed, with numerous other projects at various stages of the planning and development process. Growth will continue to happen in Sugar House. The Kemsey-Gardner Policy Institute projects that the population of Salt Lake County will increase by 125,000 residents by 2033. Capturing some of this growth within mixed-use neighborhoods such as Sugar House will save water, decrease vehicle miles traveled, reduce air pollution, and foster social connections. The city is being strategic about balancing growth while maintaining a high quality of life in Sugar House, but parking and traffic have become a concern. Once completed, the S-Line extension will locate a transit stop in the core of Sugar House, thereby improving access to the S-Line and increasing ridership numbers. This will remove vehicles from the road, lessen parking demand, and improve transportation circulation. Further, the S-Line extension will support vulnerable residents and provide access to the University of Utah's new health clinic. The city has also partnered with the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City on Fairmont Heights, a forthcoming 110-unit affordable housing project for seniors that will be directly located adjacent to the S-Line extension. For all of these reasons, I urge you to support the S-Line extension. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your input. We appreciate that. Well, it looks like we now have Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall with us. Mayor, thank you for joining us as you're down there dropping off someone to college, I hear, and so we'd love to give you some time now.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, good. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I appreciate the chance to have just a quick minute at your meeting. I want to express my enthusiastic support for the S-Line extension. It's a common sense solution that I wish would have been a part of the original build out. And as we know, it hasn't been there, and it's felt like a body without a head in many ways. It's going to improve the connectivity in one of the most rapidly growing areas of our capital city. The residents and business concerns for the area are clear. As residential development continues to increase, so do parking difficulties and the traffic congestion in that area. But by extending the S-line across Highland Drive, circulation of neighborhood traffic could dramatically improve. For example, Sugar House U of U Clinic sees over 250,000 patients per year. That exceeds all of the other 11 clinics in that system, and it equates to about 600 people per day. In addition to that, 400 staff commute to and from the clinic each day for work. Right now, the clinic stores sit a 15-minute walk from the Fairmont S-line stop. With this extension, that could decrease to a 2-minute walk. I think that would mean a major unlocking of an attractive transit option for 1,000 more people per day just for that clinic alone. That's potentially 1,000 fewer cars on busy Sugar House streets and 1,000 more parking stalls freed up. An extension would also connect dozens of shopping, dining, and entertainment options directly to the roughly $2 billion worth of apartment units now located along the streetcar corridor. Again, this sort of increased circulation within the neighborhood would take some of the burden of vehicular traffic off of our streets, allowing those who need to drive to do so more quickly and easily. And that, in turn, could stimulate economic activity within the area by making it easier for potential customers to travel to the local businesses that make Sugar House what it is. I acknowledge that any project of this nature requires a lot of planning, of temporary disruption, and construction. But as more and more residential developments are already in the works along Highland Drive, including an affordable 110-unit senior housing project, which we're thrilled about, I believe it is in our best interest to move forward with the extension. Sugar House will continue to grow in the years ahead. The residents and businesses who call it home deserve practical solutions for getting around the neighborhood they love. I'm very grateful for your consideration of this, and thank you also for accommodating me Zooming in today.
Thank you. You're most welcome, and good luck down there with that big thing you're doing down there. We several of us took as we walked that area to kind of get a better feel for it. I mean, not only the things that were built down there already under construction, and we know what you're saying about lots of growth down there in that area. So, thank you for being with us today. Heather, I'd ask you, are there any others online that I'm not aware of? Okay. With that, I'd like to switch now, and we'll get to the rest of you here. But first of all, I'd like to go to any of our public local elected officials. I'm going to go with Mayor, I think, first. Yeah, Mayor Mendenhall, we'll have you come and give you a presentation, and then any others after you, if you'll come up to the podium and state your name and who you're with, and then we look forward to hearing from your input this time.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thanks again for having me here today. I'm known as the other Mayor Mendenhall. You just heard from the great Mayor Mendenhall of Salt Lake City, and we have a lot of commonality, her and I, between representing our cities locally and then talking about that to the state. But we also have the commonality, we're dropping kids off to college today too. So later today I'll be taking my kid up to UVU and then trying to settle his mother down in that stage of life that we're going through. Okay. So I appreciate being with you this morning. Commissioner Adams, I don't know if you're going to make a good politician if you don't take credit for things you haven't done. You know, we could maybe teach you some of that, but it's great to be on this side.
But he has the cowboy hat down.
He does have the hat, so he's already halfway there. My time as mayor, just finishing up my first 4-year term as mayor of Spanish Fork and the 47th mayor of this city, and 8 years of city council before that, going over a decade of public service. I appreciate what you all are doing, that you represent to the public plans and then take input and try to come up with the best solutions possible. So I appreciate your service and being in our city today. I can tell you one of my predecessors told me the last piece of advice before I took office and swore an oath to try to do right by our city was don't screw it up. And that's what Mayor Leifson reminds me of every time I see him, and I remain reminding that to Councilman Marshall, your former director, all the time. I'm sure you had to do that, Carlos, all the time, right? Don't screw it up, Shane.
Don't screw it up.
But just want to quickly say thank you, and in the spirit of don't screw it up, everything that the gentleman said in South Utah County, I'd just say ditto. To those plans that are in effect, the things that are under construction. My day job is in the investment world, and I can't thank you enough for the investments that have been put here in Spanish Fork and South Utah County. Some of them are paying off for our citizens, and we're seeing that in real time. Some of the ones that I want to run through today as well are on the cusp of paying off and will really, really change the quality of life in a positive way for, again, not just Spanish Fork, but all of South Utah County. We've exploded to a population of 50,000 here in Spanish Fork, but the surrounding communities that come into Spanish Fork for services have exploded at the same rate. And so if it's not our own citizens moving around here in Spanish Fork, it is visitors, not only coming through one of the busiest corridors in the state, Highway 6 and I-15, but the rest of our city streets as well. So I want to note to you that while we're talking about investments, again, in Spanish Fork that are happening and we hope to happen soon, that we've made some public investments as well locally to try to get our own community members to take other north-south routes. As I was taking my other child to school this morning at the junior high, you've got to figure out those routes that are off our main corridors, because those main corridors are full of visitors and other people, not just our own people in Spanish Fork. So first of all, thank you. Here's a couple projects that I want to say thank you that have already been touched on, but this new interchange between Springville and Spanish Fork, the Dry Creek Canyon Parkway, you've seen this, but for safety purposes, the Intermountain Healthcare Hospital when an accident happens on Highway 6, a lot of those people are taken to the Spanish Fork Hospital. If they are needed for more critical care after that, they are taken up to the Provo facility of Intermountain Healthcare. This interchange itself will drastically improve the ability of those patients to be able to get to care up north as well. A huge win for our area, a huge win for the state, I think, not only affecting Spanish Fork again, but Springville and Mapleton. You are improving very much so 3 communities here of traffic being able to get more adequately to the freeway and not pass through city streets. This is US 6 and the widening that, again, you guys have taken a tour of and seen. But, again, depending on the day, such a busy part of our state. And in Spanish Fork, we're recipients of those people stopping to grab something to eat, stopping to get gas and fuel up to the next place. But I can't tell you from a resident that is on this just about every day, the widening of US 6, a great project and yielding some results already here in town. A huge one, again, the Bonneville Shoreline Trail and Spanish Fork River Trail connecting. This is actually looking from the Mapleton side and looking at the entrance of the canyon. But this next graphic here showing the public-private partnership, if you will, of some development happening that's getting these trails close to connection, and then the UDOT-funded trail bridge that will actually be what we would call a kind of a golden spike moment of trail connections here in the state. This will connect a beautiful trail that goes through Mapleton and Springville and the Bonneville shoreline, eventually getting up there, and our existing river trail that winds through Spanish Fork and gets out to Utah Lake eventually, and follows the river there. So again, a great project we're saying thank you for there. Main Street, again, my day job exists on Main Street, so I get not only the patrons and the businesses that come into my office on the daily and talk to me about Main Street, but I live and work it as well. The phases that have happened on Main Street already and are in planning are going to be very important for the safety of our residents and those that travel through. This is a few intersections on Main Street that keep our emergency services folks busy almost every single day. And so really being able to have a concrete plan of a lot of unprotected lefts that aren't going to happen anymore, and some different things are going to improve our Main Street definitely for the better. Just a couple of supports that we're asking that we want to put on your radar is the Main Street project currently funded to 4th North now. This intersection of 400 North, the improvements of that, we've talked about what those need to be, and just getting it through the 400 North intersection. Again, a very important north-south and east-west connector in our community and beyond. That would be something would certainly like on your radar. And here's
Mayor?
Yes.
Was that your fire station that's right there at that intersection?
That's correct. Yep, that's the fire station. Again, getting to the end of its useful economic life. It's a 30-plus-year-old fire station that used to be able to pull our fire vehicles, our emergency response vehicles, out onto Main Street and get to calls, and it doesn't happen right now. It's a very tough movement for them to get out on Main Street. So we're currently in the plans of building another location for that and studying that. But yes, this intersection, a very busy intersection. Yeah.
Mayor?
Yes.
I want to know when you took those pictures of Main Street, because I've never seen so few cars on Main Street. It's got to be the busiest Main Street in the state.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure when either, because that does look like it's a nice nice day to be on Main Street, maybe on a Sunday or something. I don't know, but yes, Main Street all day long, especially from south to north to get to I-15 and that connection. Again, that's where we've helped our residents on 3rd East and 3rd West. Millions and millions of dollars of Spanish Fork taxpayer dollars have went into those roads to educate our residents. If you don't have to get on Main Street, don't get on Main Street. If you need to go north to the freeway, here's your route to get to the freeway. So a lot of stop signs have come out. A lot of roundabouts have been built. Whoever mentioned Facebook, go on Facebook and see the comments on that. Sometimes those can get interesting, but they're working. It's working in our community. Residents are going north and south and trying to leave Main Street, frankly, for some visitors and people that are coming through as needs happen. Yeah. The Center Street on-ramp, I understand you took a tour of this yesterday and saw this as well. We appreciate the studies that are going on now, but a huge connection for our community as well to be able to get on and off I-15 and on our Center Street there. The investment well into the millions of Spanish Fork City to help a business move from the area that needed a rail spur, and that business is still in Spanish Fork City limits, but has a rail spur in a different spot now. And so years and years, millions of dollars of work to be able to get that out of the way and be able to have an avenue for the Center Street on-ramp. There's another picture of that more in the graphic aspect of it. Happy to take any questions or any concerns that you might have for me. Again, it's a little bit different to stand on this side. Usually I'm the one taking questions up there, Mayor. But yes, I'm happy to hear any questions or any thoughts or concerns from the commission.
Any questions?
I just would say thank you for your hospitality. It's been really great to spend some time here to see what you've done. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Please, Natalie.
Mayor, I am just really blown away by how incredible this community is. I really enjoyed yesterday. I thought the Pride and Progress theme meant something to me. This facility is extraordinary. Spent time with your city manager and whatnot, and this is a really incredible community. I'm really glad I had the experience to spend these 2 days here.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner.
Will you also thank, was it Travis that helped you? I know one of your staff was here early this morning to help us. We switched from there to here, and he made so thanks to Travis for helping us do the technology things as well.
Any support you need from Spanish Fork and from our staff. The secret really is in Spanish Fork. Why you enjoy it is our resident, our volunteer spirit in Pride and Progress is alive and well. And it doesn't matter, again, whether we're 20,000 people when I grew up and went to high school here, or we're 50,000 people. The quality of life is protected and grown in Spanish Fork because of its people, and that includes the great staff that you've touched on. So I appreciate you saying that. Again, it's a pleasure to have you. Anytime we can host and be your partners, we so appreciate your partnership in making our community and really growing the pride and progress of it. Is you play a big role in that. So we appreciate you so much.
Next time I see Mayor Leaf, I'm going to tell him that you're doing a great job and leave you alone.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
And I love those. We're looking at this. We strive to be able to maintain their. I think having that there for you every time you meet, that's a great idea, and that fits us. We want to maintain a vibrant state through personal interactions, innovative statewide government services. So, I mean, that's a great motto up there.
I don't know if we trademarked. You could probably use it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. I'd ask for, are there any other now public comments?
I just can't. I have to stand up. Shane Marshall. I'm a city council member here in Spanish Fork. I'm former deputy director with Carlos here at UDOT.
And former Region 3 director.
And former region director, yeah. Just sitting there listening to Mayor Mike talk, I just keep thinking of one thing, and that's a partnership. I grew up in this city, went to work for UDOT, worked at Region 3 almost my entire career, and having that interaction with the local communities here is just so important. That work that we're talking about on Main Street doesn't happen without UDOT, and it doesn't happen without Spanish Fork City as well. The fact that we are trying to push our residents off Main and put them somewhere else and investing into our system to help with the congestion on Main Street, I think is really important. But we could not do that without the help of UDOT on our Main Street. And just that, the constant partnership on every single one of those projects. Center Street Interchange, another partnership where we came together with MAG and UDOT and invested local money, state money, and we're going to have something very beneficial to our community. Commissioner Adams, that intersection that you talked about on US 6 and 89, something that has just been just a source of pain, I think, for our community for a very long time. And that intersection that you all funded almost a year ago now, and it's going to go out to construction next year, is so important for this community. We're taking calls after calls after calls. My daughter went to Snow College for a few years, and I would not let her come home that way because of that intersection. And just to see the progress that you all have made and the region has made, just incredible. I have to thank Rob and Andrew and Boyd do a great job for our communities all across Utah County, not just here. And Mike said it very well, the partnership with Springville and Payson and Santaquin to the south. Like, it can't happen without all of us coming together and being part of the solution. So thank you for all for being here. Appreciate your time in Spanish Fork. Welcome to come back anytime. We love to have you. So thank you very much.
Always great to see you. Thank you, Shane. Please, next.
Good morning. My name is Chris Longhurst. Apologies for the look. This was kind of short notice for me. I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee for the Sugar House Community Council. So I'm here to just speak for 5 seconds about the S-Line extension. Obviously, you can tell from my accent, I'm not from around here originally. I moved here in 2001. I've lived in Sugar House ever since. I would encourage you to support the S-Line extension. I grew up in the Netherlands, actually, even though I was born in England. I didn't own a car until I moved here when I was 30. So I grew up using public transport, buses, trams, streetcars, trains, walking and cycling. And frankly, I'm thrilled by the idea of extending the S-Line further into Sugar House, especially with the catchment area of the Senior Living Center, the hotel that's there, all the food and drink opportunities, the cinema, and of course, as you've heard, the Sugar House Health Clinic. One of the things that's hard to overstate is the visibility of having a an S-Line station visible. So at the moment, most people know there's an S-Line station somewhere near the Sugar House shops, but it's kind of a little bit hidden. Once it's in that area, when people come out of the shops or when they want to get somewhere that's in that selection of shops, it's right there. It's going to be visible to everyone. And I think the catchment area for that is potentially very large. So I'm really thrilled with the idea, and I encourage you to support it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Larson. I am actually the wife of a sixth-generation farmer here in Spanish Fork. I would just like to have it on the record that there are several critical
pull
concerns.
the mic closer to you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
is that better? Can you hear me? Okay, thanks. So I would just like to have it on the record that there are several critical concerns with the Center Street interchange that I feel are being dismissed or pushed to design without mitigation identified and without accurate documentation in the NEPA documentation. These are not minor details. They are foundational flaws in the way the project was planned, evaluated, and documented, and I believe they must be resolved before the project is used to shape other transportation plans, land use decisions, and funding priorities. So just to touch on a few of the concerns, UDOT's own commitments previously are not being honored. The forecasting, modeling, and indirect and cumulative impact analysis do not reflect the reality on the ground. The ag-protected areas were left out of the models entirely. The farmland impact rating is not correct, and many assumptions UDOT made would set up the city for a legal conflict. So farm equipment safety has not been addressed despite its importance to daily operations in Spanish Fork, Leland, and Palmyra. The irrigation infrastructure data is inaccurate, which means that the indirect impact to more than 10,000 acres of prime and unique farmland that's very well productive is being ignored entirely. I think that there is compliance failure under federal law, state law, and UDOT's own manual of instruction, and it cannot be cured later in design. So if these flaws remain uncorrected, the project will rest on a record that is legally vulnerable, factually inaccurate, and out of step with both state and federal requirements. So I have actually been in communication with both Region 3 and the Central Environmental, and I want to publicly express my concerns and just request that we resolve these ag issues over the next few months. Thanks.
Thanks for being here, Jackie. And I know that whenever we don't usually respond to comment, but we get back, right, Carlos, the process to anyone that comes and makes public comment on behalf of us. So thank you. Please.
Good morning. My name is Sylvia Wilkins, and I'm with one of the service provider applicants that's participating in the BEAD program, the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. And we just wanted to make a few comments today. I hope that you understand how critical this program is, as it affects now over 29,000 locations. When it began, there were 43,000 locations in the state of Utah. One of the questions we have is who's going to make the decision on this program. A lot of what was left to the states is very critical. Not everything that came from NTIA was decided, and so we're just wondering who's making the decisions and who's approving that program to go to NTIA for final approval. We understand that in about a week there will be a 7-day comment period. What will be done with these comments, who will take action, what will happen, and kind of what the process is on that. And some of these may be addressed later, but it's hard to know when we haven't seen the presentation yet. One of the components to the program is that the states get to decide how to determine priority projects, which technologies are determined to be priority or not. We haven't seen anything on how that's been determined, so it'd be helpful to understand that process and what the criteria for that was. Also, the program, as you learned yesterday, allowed for a variety of applicants, including cities, counties, service providers, tribal organizations. So along with that process, how were these applicants determined to be capable of deploying a broadband network, and if in the end the network that the award that they're given is not completed, what is going to happen in that process? Also, each state determined their project areas, and in the state of Utah, they use census blocks to combine and make project areas. And I don't know that if you guys have been able to see that map, but if you look at that map, the project areas are from very small to very broad. They're spread out. They're not contiguous. There's project areas that go from the Colorado border clear to the Wasatch County border. And some of these project areas include both private and tribal lands. So we want to make sure that there's not mixed locations in each of these in project areas, because that has a significant component on how you can apply for those areas. And I hope that you don't feel that we're just bringing up all these questions at the end of the process. We've been very involved in this process for the last 4 years, and we've brought up these questions and comments many times, and we haven't received a clarified answer yet or have seen evidence that any of these have been solved. So we just wanted to make you aware of that, because this is such an important process, and it affects many people and the ways that they'll be able to be served over the next several years. We won't have this opportunity again, I don't believe, so it's very important that we make good decisions. Thank you.
Sylvia, thank you for taking time to be here, and I think your one comment that some may be answered, there will be some of these things that might be brought up as part of our discussion today, and then others as follow-up. So thank you. We've taken note, and we'll follow up with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning, distinguished members of the Transportation Commission and Carlos Braceras. I appreciate you taking our comments today. I am Myron Lee. I'm the director of the Dixie MPO in St. George, Utah. I'm here to comment on two major issues that are affecting us in that area. First of all, I would like to address the growing the sheer growth of population in the St. George area. We now contain over 6% of the state's population within our MPO boundaries, and we've doubled in size in the last 15 years. And if the water holds out, we will probably double in the next 15 years. With that growth comes more cars, more people, more jobs, more homes, and more transportation needs. Of particular note is the needs on State Route 9 between State Route 7 in Hurricane and I-15. That section of road needs to be upgraded to freeway standard to handle the volume of traffic that it's seeing today and will see in the future. It's also listed on our high injury network of roads that have an inordinate amount of fatal and serious injury accidents. State Route 9 is a very expensive project to go after, and for many reasons it has not yet risen to the top of the list of projects to be funded within the state of Utah. I understand that there are needs throughout the state. I don't want to try to talk disparaging about any of the projects that are funded by the Transportation Commission, but I would like to draw your attention to the need to widen State Route 9 and create grade-separated interchanges along that section of roadway to handle the traffic that we see today and will see in the near future. St. George City is the 5th largest city in the state of Utah. Hurricane and Washington cities combined also rank in the top 20 of size of cities in Utah, and they serve as bedroom communities to each other. We've got people going both directions on State Route 9. So I would ask that you pay attention to that roadway if at all possible in the near future. The second item that I would like to talk to you about is near to my heart. I miss Commissioner Nagi Zanotti. Nagi served the commission well for 12 years. I was there when he started. He jumped into that position with an enthusiasm and a determination to learn the transportation system and the nuances of building a good system and maintaining the system for many years. Recently, Nagi was cycled off the Transportation Commission because of term limits. I understand that. I miss him. Nagi came to our MPO meetings. He was at the table and he voted on our MPO board for 12 years. Nagy was able to go on tours with us to see projects. He experienced projects. He was there and ever present. He knew our elected officials, our policymakers, and our issues with a great deal of detail. Commissioner Zanotti's former seat on our MPO board is now filled by Commissioner Bruce Adams. I have a great deal of respect for Bruce. In 2008, when I took over as Monticello City Manager, Bruce Adams was a seasoned county commissioner, and he guided me through a difficult time there for Monticello City as we recovered from a major economic downfall. Commissioner Adams is a friend of mine. I've respected him for many years. The problem is that from Commissioner Adams' front door on Latigo Lane in Monticello City to our MPO board meetings is a 6-hour drive, both ways. It's 6 hours for him to get there, however long it takes him to meet, and a 6-hour drive to get home. Again, I have a great deal of respect for Commissioner Adams. He's an advocate for our area, but he is not able to participate in some of the finer details in our community. He's not able to see the congestion on a daily basis. He's not able to feel the growth as it comes in, subdivision after subdivision after subdivision. I don't know that this commission or this body has any influence on who the governor appoints as Transportation Commission, but many of you are closer to our MPO than Commissioner Adams. I would invite you all to come down to the St. George area. I will clear my schedule. If you give me a call, I'll clear my schedule to give you a tour and point out some of our issues. We have many. But please be aware that we have needs in that area. And we dearly miss the local representation that we had with Commissioner Zanotti, Commissioner Jerry Lewis before him, and Commissioner Gray Larkin before him, all of whom served for 12 years on the Transportation Commission, representing 30 plus years of local representation on the commission. We miss that, and we're feeling a great deal of pain in the St. George area. Again, I invite you all to our area. I look forward to seeing you and working with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Would you get with Heather and send us out when your meetings are?
I certainly will.
And where they're held at? Some of us travel there off and on, and I would be glad to arrange my schedule to be able to come and set through some. I've sat through a lot with Wasatch Front and regional council. So if you can get those to Heather and she can get them out to us, I think some of us would be available to come. And do you have a Zoom feature that we could get on?
We do broadcast our meetings virtually, primarily for the benefit of Commissioner Adams, so that he can vote on our board. I appreciate that invitation.
I'm just speaking for myself, but I'd like to have an issue, and then we could see what we can do to.
Thank you, Commissioner Van Tassel.
Pay attention.
I'm sure he spoke for all of us up here. We'd like to know that so we can make opportunity to do that.
I will reach out. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments, anybody on it? Thank you for making the drive to come up here to be with us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Can't ask, are there any other here, before we go to the written items, any other public comments, please? It's the ice cream man.
My name's Jamie Evans, and I just want to tell you thanks for coming to the best region, because this is the best part of the state, in my opinion. And I want to commend UDOT for, in the last 20 years, making a partnership of the contractors that they work with. And you may not know it, but Springville, just to the north of here, is where a lot of the major contractors came from over the last 100 years, i.e. W.W. Clyde, they're about 93 years old, and Las Vegas Paving, and a bunch of other ones that are large contractors that came from here. And that partnership, I've watched it improve over the last 20 years. It has truly become a better partnership. Thanks to UDOT. And before I leave, I'll make mine quick and short, but I do miss Nagy. He's great. He was a great commissioner. He communicated so well. And before anybody from Logan leaves, they got to take home some of the best ice cream in the state.
Wait, we got a little problem, Mr. Evans.
So I have more of the best ice cream to make sure anybody from the north, make sure they get to take some
Probably
home.
all melted by now.
Oh, no, it's not melted. I got it good. So thank you very much, and I just want to tell you about, I don't know,
Thank you for
Springville,
being
too.
here and the support that you give our programs. And they're both good ice cream. I'll eat them both. They're both good. So I like them.
Oh, thank you.
And I have a
Politician, I'm not.
I have an affinity for your dad's name too.
That's true. My dad's name is Jim Evans.
So we kind of connect.
Yeah, I get, and I thank you very much. That's
I'd just say that 20 years ago, when we were doing some of this, and the economy was down and things, the state of Utah, through the legislature, made a decision to was going to fund transportation. Primarily, one, we had some of the best workforce in construction companies of anywhere in the country. We've just done design build, and so I think it's been felt from the legislature down through to the commission, and it's a great opportunity. So we are getting, although it's expensive, we're still getting a lot of bang for our bucks that a lot of states don't get.
yes, we have. If you travel to other states, and I travel to a lot of other countries, and we do an excellent job in this state. Just, especially as a contractor. I mean, I've watched this stuff for 45 years, and thank you.
Thank you for being here today. No, we all miss Nagy and Tweet. They're a package deal. We miss them both. So great mentors to us. Thanks. Please.
It's never too early to talk about ice cream, is it? I'm Tyler Rasmussen with Strata Networks. Appreciate the opportunity to make a few comments this morning. Strata, for those of you who are not familiar, we're an internet service provider in the Uinta Basin. We've been serving the Uinta Basin for approximately 70 years. We operate and maintain a robust middle-mile fiber network that connects to Salt Lake and Denver via multiple paths. And our comments today relate to the BEAD program, of course, as has been mentioned. I think our primary concern is the notion that UDOT staff has applied for and received funding, approximately $30 million to fund a middle mile network connecting the Uinta Basin. We believe the narrative that was used to fund that program is false. We provide many services to UDOT along that same route. UETN, all of the schools and libraries within the Uinta Basin are connected via our fiber network. We connect nearly 100 cell sites in the region. We provide services to 20,000 broadband customers and pass nearly 17,000 locations with fiber optics. So the notion that UDOT needed to fund a middle mile network to connect the Uinta Basin, we believe is false. How that relates to the BEAD program, which you will hear about today, is we believe that that application for funding, the Jurassic Project, and the corresponding agreement that UDOT has with other entities that have been applying for BEAD funding has tainted the process, has made the BEAD process very difficult to select accurately the applicants that are providing the best service, most capable, and those that are providing the applications at the lowest cost. So again, this is an issue we've raised with staff for many years, for a couple of years actually. We were actually asked to sign a letter of support for the Jurassic Project and couldn't offer that letter of support because we believe the narrative was false. And your staff went around Strata, another entity, to sign a letter of support. So again, we're raising this issue with the Commission. We feel like it's a significant issue. We've attempted to address it many times in the past, and we would love to discuss and resolve this issue. So thank you for allowing me to make some comments.
Thank you, Tyler, for being
Mr.
here.
Chair.
And I know that Carlos, will follow up with us.
Mr. Chair,
please.
I have a question. Could I? So, if you were in our meeting yesterday, you know that I have some concern about not only the numbers that are from that particular area, but they also bleed towards the Wasatch Front. Are you also involved in those numbers as they come to the Wasatch Front?
Strata is not heavily involved in the Wasatch Front. It's just been in the last couple of years that we've started to expand our network into the Wasatch Front to serve end consumers. We do have a network into Salt Lake connecting us to internet points of presence, but no, we're not an incumbent provider out on the Wasatch Front like we are in the Uinta Basin. So there are, again, the answer to your question yesterday, there are inherent reasons, which I believe Rebecca did a good job trying to answer, inherent reasons, and the Uinta Basin is very unique, as Commissioner Van Tassel can express. There are several very complicated jurisdictional issues that are bringing this issue, frankly, to the forefront, that impede broadband deployment. And that's what we're hoping we can work together with UDOT on instead of working against each other, frankly. And we feel like the position that UDOT has taken over the last couple of years has put us at odds, frankly, and put Strata as a service provider serving the Uinta Basin for 7 decades. It's made it much more difficult to do exactly what I believe you want us to do.
Well, I'm not sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
I was just asking some questions
broadband deployment, right?
about that. So if I understand you correctly today, you're saying that you think the narrative is false. Did I quote you correctly on that one? And the fact that because of those things, that becomes the proof in the pudding about the numbers that I was questioning yesterday. Is that what you're saying to this commission?
No, I don't believe those two issues are directly correlated. I think you were asking about a specific area along the Wasatch Front that had a low broadband penetration rate, like in the 60% range, right? Is that what you were asking?
No, but it also went to the Uinta Basin, that whole area.
Yeah. The inherent issues I'm referring to are typically distance-based, right? Broadband is more expensive to deliver the further you go. There's geographic issues, terrain issues, and of course sometimes jurisdictional issues that increase cost, the cost of permitting and construction, et cetera. So the specific area that you were referring to along the Wasatch Front, I would certainly be happy to look at, but I'm sure that some of those same issues exist. Low density, not a lot of subscribers, and terrain issues, construction cost issues, et cetera. So, and again, we can talk about those in the Uinta Basin as well. I mean, Uinta Basin is very rugged, very, very challenging. And not to criticize Rebecca, but she started with a slide that's 2 years old, and she didn't present to you the updated percentages as of today, right? She did talk about updated locations. She talked about 43,000 being reduced down to 29,000 through the mapping and challenging process, but she didn't show you a new map of percentages and take rates today. So I think we're kind of talking about data that's 2 years old, and I think it'd be better to talk about data that's current. So,
thank you. Any other questions? And Carlos, any other follow up right now? Okay. As with all, we'll follow up on this.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the time.
Thanks for being here. Any other here that would like to come to the podium and address the commission? Seeing none, we're going to have, I think there's wide any written comments. We'd love to have you come up and share those if you would, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Wyatt Woolley. I'm the Region 3 Communications Manager, and I have 3 written comments here from people from the Salt Lake City Sugar House area about the S-Line. This is from George Chapman. He writes, "These are my comments for the next Transportation Commission meeting in August. I have included the latest ridership figures. If you need more years, let me know. During a recent visit to Utah by the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he said he wanted to see results when it comes to funding transit and projects that actually have projections on ridership and actually meet those projections or exceed those projections quoted in the Deseret News. Unfortunately, the S-Line has never met the promise projected or even the minimum ridership to justify the expenditure. Despite promising 5,000 a day ridership to get federal funding, the S-Line has stayed between 1,200 and 1,600 riders a day. The claims that it has led to billions in economic benefits is disrespectful and false. Over 1,000 new apartments, rentals, and condos have been built, but the ridership has not increased. Salt Lake City's planning director was quoted several years ago during a tour of the development in the area as saying, "Much of the new development is due to the great amount of green space in the Sugar House area. It has 2 big parks, 3 golf courses, a linear park along the S-Line, and a trail that connects the Bonneville Shoreline Trail with the Jordan River Trail. The slow speed of the S-Line has been compared to walking if you wait for 15 minutes for the next train. Expecting U of U health employees in the area to spend an extra hour a day using the S-Line seems unrealistic. The other hundreds of millions of proposed SLC rail projects are not guaranteed to provide ridership. Even the celebrated UVX is getting less than 10,000 riders a day during their school year, 5,000 a day during summer, despite removing 2 lanes of traffic that could move 18,000 riders a day in cars. The failed 35 Max BRT ridership was 3,200 a day, despite taking up another 2 lanes of traffic and only saving 15 minutes on the run across the valley. During several years of fighting the S-Line expansion, we learned that the federal government will not fund projects without broad public support. We used that to stop the S-Line expansion from using federal funds applied for in a secret due to the public backlash. The S-Line and several other finished and proposed projects historically have not and will not meet those projections. The Utah Transportation Commission, UTA, and Utah governments should recognize that the low ridership does not justify having the federal government increase the public debt to fund these fiscally irresponsible projects. UTA should focus on increasing ridership with focus on service, especially on buses, before thinking of building more projects. On a side note, as I have mentioned several times during legislature hearings, there is no substitute as efficient as roads, cars, and trucks. Cars make our families more efficient, trucks make our economy more efficient, and roads make our country more efficient. I thank you for your service that has been prioritizing road, cars, and trucks. That was George Chapman. This comment comes from Hannah Barton. She says, "Hello, I am born and raised in Sugar House, resident, and hope to continue to live here for a long time. I am extremely supportive of the S-Line extension and know it will help the local businesses and continue to flourish and reduce congestion issues. Please support the S-Line extension." All right, next one. This is from Sarah Young, Salt Lake City Council Member, District 7. All right, let's see if I can read this here. To whom it may concern, as a Salt Lake City Council Member, Representative District 7, also known as the Sugar House area, I'm writing to express my strong support for the extension of the S-Line streetcar into the heart of Sugar House's main business corridor. This project represents a vital investment in our community's present needs for a terminal station in the heart of our business district and also sets the stage for a better future. Bringing the S-Line directly into our main business district will encourage greater use of public transportation, making it easier and more convenient for residents and visitors to choose transit over cars. By bringing the terminal station a main shopping center, it increases visibility of the S-Line for both new and long-standing residents. Reducing traffic congestion and improve air quality. By decreasing the number of single occupants vehicles on our roads as we look at the future of our community, we know that a strong public transportation infrastructure is critical to the protecting of our natural resources that we all love and cherish here in Utah. Support our local businesses, many of which are still working to rebound from the impacts of the majority of businesses are owned by residents, so investing in their success is an investment in the local economy where local dollars fuel jobs, public improvements, and better lives. Strengthening community and connections by creating a comprehensive network of public transit that links people to shopping, workplaces, healthcare facilities, and our iconic public parks. This not only benefits future events like the 2034 Winter Olympics for visitors, but it creates lasting changes that improves the quality of life for our residents. This extension is not simply a transportation project, it is an investment in the long-term vitality, accessibility, and sustainability of Sugar House and the surrounding region. I urge UDOT to prioritize the S-Line extension and move it forward without delay. Thank you for your consideration and your continued partnership in shaping a future that works for all of us. Sarah Young.
Thank you. And Wyatt, by the way, before you leave, thanks. I know you also a big part in pulling together the presentation and the handouts, and you did a great job. Thank you for your effort for us.
Thanks for coming, Commissioners.
Thanks. Before I say any comments, Heather, Carlos, have I got all the public input that was online, the written, in the room? I think okay, thank you. So we'll close the public comment. Any comments from any of the commissioners before we move on to the next part of our agenda? Okay. Thank you. Thanks to all for being here today and your comments. We'll follow up with those with staff. We now have the item number 4, UDOT scoreboard. First of all, we'll have Carmen come forward to the follow. I think Patrick will be covering for us today, so we'll have you introduce yourselves and for the record, and then look forward to your presentations.
17 years as a legislator.
Thank you, Commissioners. Carmen Swanwick, Project Development. I'm going to give you an update on our project delivery status. This will be different. We have been migrating a lot of our data into the new systems and updating all of our dashboards, so this will look different from what you've seen in the past, but the information is still there for you. So starting here with project delivery, again, I want to remind everyone that this data is based on our fiscal year, which started July 1, so therefore the numbers are low. We have 4 past due projects. We have 74 projects coming in the next 60 days. We've advertised 13 projects to date, and again, it seems low, but it's from July 1st. Going up here. So moving into our advertising status, let's zoom down here. You can see the graphs look a little different from what they were before, but the data is all the same. We're right here in July of 25. You can see August is going to be a big month for us, and that was shown on the previous slide with the 74 projects that are coming. And then you can also see how we're projecting out a lot of future projects into scoping and concept. If you scroll down here, and again, I know this is new, you can change the dates, and you can also get to our project values.
That's nice.
Moving into advertised projects and our contract payments. So you can see, sorry, this doesn't fit on the screen as well. Where we're at right now, we have 208 projects that are under construction at this point. We are about paid out this in August, about $2 billion, with remaining contracts about $800 million. We can get back here. There you go. And as you can see, June, July, and August always tend to be the biggest months for us because that's when a lot of construction is happening. Contractor payments, which will relate exactly to what you saw in the previous graph. We are at, we basically paid out $100 million in August, about $143 million in July. Again, this is in the same trend as the previous graph you just saw with, this is our highest time to be paying out in contracts. Contract award versus our engineer's estimate. We'll go down into July and August. As you can see, our engineer's estimates have been above where we're getting our bids. So we have been getting really good bids at this point in time. We are also going back and asking project teams to reevaluate engineers' estimates. But at this point, we've really seen a lot of good bids from our contractors at this point.
That's great.
So that's what I have to share with you today on the new layout and some of the information that is coming from our new migrating our project data.
Carmen, thanks for giving us the tutorial on the new dashboard. I'd encourage all of us commissioners to dig in and kind of look at more of these numbers. There's a lot of numbers behind us.
Yeah.
She was showing us there, and I really like that. I like the layout, so I think it will help us to understand.
And fair warning, I will probably be making some changes as we develop this further.
Okay, it's on. We're seeing it live as it happens.
Okay,
Thank you.
you so much.
Questions for Carmen?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being here today in your
Thank you.
presentation. Let's see, we have Patrick. Now, Patrick, are you going to give us at the end? I'm just warning you, we want to hear stay sober. Your seat. I hope he gave you that to read at the end. Okay.
You read my notes.
With that, we're going to let you go ahead and present. So,
Mr. Chairman and Commission, pleasure to be here with you today. I am filling in for Troy Peterson, Director of Operations. My name is Patrick Cowley. I am the Director of Traffic and Safety at the DOT. And in the spirit of Mayor Mendenhall, I'll try not to screw it up. We will actually come over to the Strategic Direction website, where we will go through a few of our fatality numbers. And within this area, we're going to start with the rate. And the fatality rate is based on the number of vehicle miles traveled. And that is steadily rising each year. And off to the right here, we were at 36 billion this last year, and as of today, we're at 23. You can clearly see in the white lettering on the white background here on the graphs. See if we can refresh. There we go.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Okay.
Not the
and reload.
Closed. Okay, there we go.
We can get back in. Okay, our VMT, our vehicle miles traveled, is steadily rising. That's expected with an increase in population. And so far this year, we're at 23 billion. Now, comparing the number of fatalities that we've had on our roads to the amount of vehicle miles traveled, we're at a rate of 0.67, which nationally speaking is really low. It's not as good as we would like it to be. Zero fatalities is what we strive for. However, you can see over the past number of years since COVID that has steadily been declining. We attribute that to safer cars, safer roadways, improved behaviors, and we're striving to find all of those different areas where we can affect change and continue to lower that rate. As we look at our vulnerable users, we do have a concern with motorcycles. This summer has been much higher than we had anticipated. Of the total vulnerable road users, which includes pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorcyclists, motorcyclists account for 66% of those fatalities, which if you look at the orange right across there to the right, it's as high as it's been for the entire year in previous years. This compared to the number of fatalities, we're at 31% of the total fatalities, which we're at 152, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. We're not sure why the recent spike. We know that summer times and warmer weathers, if we have a warm, dry winter, we know that motorcyclists get out a lot more and are in that exposure. But we are working and focusing on education, and with our partners with the Highway Safety Office and the Highway Patrol to increase messaging and educational campaigns, understanding that there is something going on, and we would like to see if we can lower that going on into the future. this graph here is the number of fatalities compared to what our target is. We want to reduce fatalities by a steady 2.5% over the 3-year average. And we have been going down steadily in number of fatalities, and so that target will start to decline as well. With that, we have our report card, and so far to date, compared to last year, we are down about 16 fatalities from this same time last year, which is encouraging. It is still way too high. As we look at the 100 deadliest days from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we know that this is when we have the highest number of vehicles on our roads, and we're going to talk about the behaviors in just a moment. We are lower this year as well, with just 2.5 weeks to go. We hope to keep that trend going lower over the past few years. And as promised, we encourage all of those on our roadways to drive sober, to drive alert, to drive focused, drive calm, and drive buckled. And with that, we believe that through the 4 E's of traffic safety, of education, engineering, enforcement, and emergencies medical services, that we can reduce fatalities altogether. Any questions?
Please.
Man. You know, I think the last time we met, I tried to divide things into 2 categories. One was safety, and the other I called stupid. Are we able to make a differentiation yet on these fatalities? How many are caused by a potential or alleged defect in the roadway, as opposed to the other things that cause these motorcycle accidents, which are driving too fast, lane splitting, and things like that? Are we able to do that, or is that just something we can't do?
We are doing that. Upwards of 96% of fatalities can be attributed to human behavior, which is a very low percentage for engineering. That doesn't mean we're not working to try to influence that behavior to make our roadways safer as well. And as mentioned before, cars are getting safer to help to overcome the human behavior that causes these fatalities. So yes, we review the fatalities every 2 months and find ways that what can we do from an engineering standpoint and from an education standpoint to help reduce those fatalities. As mentioned before, we had this uptick of motorcycle fatalities, and it's unacceptable. And so we recognize that it's not always the roadway and it's not always the vehicle, but choices made by those who are driving. We try to educate them as well to drive calm, slow down, don't be so aggressive, be patient, and always stay buckled.
Well, I mean, thank you for that. Obviously, you know, everyone in this room would like to see that 0 up there, and it's just very disheartening because there's real families that are affected by these things. It's not just a number, and you know, and sometimes it's just very tragic how it happened. We had a motorcycle accident, as you know, after the last meeting we had in Roy on 84, and you know, it looked like the guy just missed the turn from what you could see when you drove through the area. Anyway, well, thank you for the report, but just let you know, some of us would like to really see what we can do to keep lowering that number.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Commissioner.
Yeah, I just wondered, you know, in the rural areas down like Moab and out in these other areas, we're hearing that there's less visitors this year for whatever reason. Do you see a trend where there might be possibly less traffic on the road? Has a correlation with number of fatalities?
Well, I don't want to be flippant, but if you just weren't so darn awesome down there, people wouldn't want to come and see you. The trends, and I haven't looked this up specifically for southern Utah, but as was mentioned, St. George is growing,
Right.
and traffic is increasing, and bad behavior abounds. And so we hope to get people to drive calm. And so when we do have opportunities to expand roadways or transit or getting people around, that we can do so in a safe manner. Now, that didn't totally answer your question as to do we see traffic going up. It's been going up as our population has been increased. So we anticipate that it will continue to rise. And as the desirable areas to be are in southern Utah, we anticipate that those will continue to grow as well in visitor traffic.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair?
Please, Carlos.
Yeah, just maybe, excuse me, maybe add to a couple things that Patrick said. This is trying to make a connection here. So, Patrick's division collects all the data, works with all of the law enforcement folks to understand and to try to diagnose every crash, especially those fatalities, to try to understand what's behind them. You guys you fund projects. We've been going through the workshops. You fund pavement projects, bridge projects across the entire state. Whenever you fund a project, we then take the data and work with Patrick's folks. Do we still call it an operational safety report?
We do not.
Okay.
Project safety analysis.
Okay, so that dates me in actually doing work. But so then we take that analysis and match it up with those projects that you've funded and say, what safety features can we incorporate into this project out here? And so sometimes that results in us coming back and say, you know what, the scope has changed on this project because we want to incorporate these safety features. And so we're trying to learn from every crash and figure out how on every project we could make the infrastructure safer. So I wanted to help make that connection. We don't yet, it takes a little while to roll up the actual total mileage in the state. So we don't have 2025 numbers to be able to respond to Commissioner Adams' question yet. That's probably, I don't know, it's probably mid-year next year before we actually have done all the work to bring those numbers together. But everything we see shows the traffic continuing to increase across the state.
Thank you. Back to the comment about stupid versus improving things. Good example here. Smart cars now, at least mine, if I leave it set, it won't let me put it in drive until I have my seatbelt fastened. Mm-hmm. Stupid is when I disable that in my thing. And my wife says, why did you do that? So she's still working on me, but there's things that they try to do to help us and be safer, all of us. I mean, there was another 22-year-old hit and killed on one of those electric motorcycles in a crosswalk or something. Just every day my wife says, well, there was another one today, and we talk about that in the morning of the difference. So I guess we appreciate what you're doing and the teams are doing that. They showed one of the projects in Highway 6, more concrete median there, and that big curve and comes down. That's to help with safety, the type of things that we can do, and we're working on that. So thank you very much for being here today and to present to us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think it's time for the Ivan Hour of Power. We hope it's not an hour, but whatever time it takes, Ivan, to walk us through. We have a number of things now, from the consent to programming so thank you.
Know whether I should apologize or say thank you, so good morning instead.
Great to have you here and all your work that you and the teams do.
Thank you. Ivan Hartle, Financial Programming for the Department. Our first item number 5, is our consent agenda. Including in the consent agenda packets are the minutes for the June 26, 2025 staff meeting and a staff update meeting, the region tour, and then the following day, June 27th, Transportation Commission meeting, as well as a list of projects. These projects included in the exhibit have been either awarded, have been identified with budget amounts that can be recovered, or are in the closeout process and have funding available to remove and reprogram. So going past our proposed motion, we can see we have our minutes from the staff update meeting. Then we have our minutes from the area road tour, and then the following day's commission meeting as well. At the bottom, we have a list of projects totaling about a little over $11 million that we're requesting approval to remove these funds from these projects so we can reprogram them. It's always cheaper to do a project now than wait. Our request today is a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion with a comment.
Okay.
I just went down through the minutes over from our last meeting and noticed there wasn't a lot of money spent in Region 4. So I just want to comment, if you find any extra money on the floor over at the facility, why don't you throw us a bone?
Well, we heard that you have lots of open space down there. Oh, okay, we will. Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussions on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Opposed to any? Thank you.
I think the commissioner was out of order.
Out of order? I'm not going to bang the gavel. Okay.
The next item, we move to the STIP amendment portion. Item 6A-1, this is the I-15 reconstruction Farmington to Salt Lake City. This is a scope addition request to the project. In scoping the I-15 reconstruction project, adding a lane each direction to Legacy Highway SR 67 before beginning I-15 construction was analyzed. The widening of the Legacy Highway is currently shown in the Regional Transportation Plan as a Phase 2 needed project. Adding a lane in conjunction with the I-15 project would reduce traffic in I-15 during construction, allowing larger work zones and therefore saving construction time and money. The funding to build the additional lane on Legacy Highway will come from the current I-15 project budget. The additional scope will require a Regional Transportation Plan amendment conducted by WFRC. So located here on our map, SR 67.
My favorite highway.
And our request today is a motion to approve adding scope to the I-15 reconstruction Farmington to Salt Lake City project as detailed, contingent upon the RTP amendment by WFRC.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd so move.
I can make a motion. What was the amount again on this?
There's no additional cost, just the scope.
It's in the.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, then I'll second. I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Not only does the public appreciate,
What are we
take a vote,
voting on?
the no additional cost, but the fact of the staging, I think, is really great. And I think we overlook that sometimes, that we're going to get that done then so we can have a place to put people. So, okay, any further discussion? Oh, please.
Question, how long will it take to complete the Legacy project, portion of the project? I'm sorry, Rob, I should have asked you that last week.
Rob White, Region 1 Director. That project is going to begin early next spring, and it's going to be completed in 1 year. The original Legacy Highway was built anticipating a third lane, so all those bridges were widened. So this is just adding the lanes, the pavement, and a few other items to that project. So it'll be completed next year.
And then after that, work begins on 15?
Correct.
Okay.
You guys are brilliant.
I was on that committee.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, if any? Thank you. That motion passes for that item. And we got a little bit of politician stuff going over here. They were talking about how smart they were to approve building the bridges bigger back when they were part of that. So, thank you for doing that. That's helped us out now. Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you. Our next item, 6A-2, this is a new project for the Transportation Solutions Program. SR 154 milepost 1.65 to 2.7 is a barrier replacement project for $1.5 million. The scope of the SR 154 Bangor Highway milepost 1.65 to 2.7 barrier replacement project is to remove the precast median barrier and replace it with cast-in-place median barrier. So located here on our map,
Just that portion.
and our request today is a motion to add the SR 154 milepost 1.65 to 2.7 barrier replacement project to the current STIP as detailed.
Thank you. Do we have a motion or any questions?
I'll move if nobody else will.
Second.
Motion and second. Any comments before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any? That item passes. Item number 2 passes.
Thank you. Item number 6A-3, this is the Region 2 Transportation Alternative Projects, or TAP program. We have 4 projects to present to you today. Within Region 2, the 3200 West, 6175 South to Summit Vista Boulevard, Fireclay Avenue pedestrian crossing improvements at the tracks line, 7000 South to 2661 West to 2475 West sidewalk, and the Riverton City pedestrian ADA ramps. So Region 2 has conducted an application period to determine eligible projects in Tooele, Summit, and Salt Lake counties. The region received 13 applications through this process. This request is to approve adding 4 transportation alternative projects to the current STIP. The first one, Taylorsville City, 3200 West, 6175 South to Summit Vista Boulevard, is a sidewalk project. That the scope of the project is to install a sidewalk along the west side of 3200 West to 6175 South, from 6175 South to Summit Vista Boulevard. And we do have maps on each one of these as well. So here's the 6175 South to Summit Vista Boulevard project. Our next item is Murray City, Fireclay Avenue pedestrian crossing improvements of the tracks. The scope of this project is to install a sidewalk and appropriate pedestrian at-grade railroad crossing elements on the north side of Fireclay Avenue from 120 West across the UTA tracks line. So located here on our map, you can see Fireclay Avenue, the sidewalk across the tracks. Our third project, the West Jordan, 7000 South, 2659 West to 2477 West sidewalk. The project will install a sidewalk along the south side of 70th South from 2659 West to 2477 West. So located here on our map, on the south side. And then our last project, the Riverton City pedestrian ADA ramps. This project will add 9 new ADA ramps and sidewalks at various locations throughout the city.
I'll make the motion on this one.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions on any of these projects?
They're all helpful to safety.
They are helpful to safety, so I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, if any? Item number 3 passes.
Thank you. Item number 6A-4 is the SR 87 box culvert replacement, adding funds from the Transportation Solutions program. The scope of the SR 87 box replacement or culvert replacement project is to replace an aging box culvert on SR 87 near Ioka Junction and bring the clear zone up to standard. The existing culvert has no guardrail protection, has steep slopes and head walls directly adjacent to the roadway. The initial estimate and scope for this project were based on a full closure of SR 87 to facilitate the replacement of the box culvert. During design, it was determined that there is not a good alternative route that traffic could use through the project limits. This resulted in additional costs associated with keeping a lane open during construction. So you can see here on our map, here's where our culvert is, and a picture that you can see the top roadway profile. There's just not a lot of clearance right here along the end of the culverts. Our request today is a motion to approve adding funds on the SR 87 box culvert replacement project as detailed.
I would move. First of all, Mr. Chairman, if I might, there's no way around this, where this box culvert's going. When you see that else, we got to engineer the whole road and move it over. But this is a good safety thing, and I move for approval.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is this the type of thing where you would have a temporary lane, you'd have a one-way traffic signal? I mean, what type of thing? Maybe I was just curious what we do for something like this.
Tell him to go around.
Yeah, Boyd Humphreys, Region 3 Deputy Director. Yeah, we would have to, there'll be it'll be one lane of traffic, and so we'll have to use a temporary signal or flagging. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, if any? Thank you. Item number 4 passes.
Thank you. Item 6A-5 is the SR 87 slope stabilization near Altamont. This is also a funding addition from our Transportation Solutions program. The scope of the SR 87 slope stabilization near Altamont project is to install a wall to prevent further sliding of the slope and fix the area affected from initial slide. As design progressed, it was determined that a different wall type would be the best option to stabilize the slope and prevent future issues. The additional funding request would be to cover the additional costs for the more expensive wall. Located here on our map, and you can see some of the images of the slope that they'll be working with. I offered to go take these pictures, but they already had some, so I'm sorry. Our request today is a motion to approve adding funds to the SR 87 slope stabilization near Altamont project as detailed.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
Needed, very needed. I move to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Bruce. Other comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any. Thank you. Item number 5 passes.
Our next item, 6A-6, this is the US 191 northbound passing lane extension in Spanish Valley. This is a new project from our Transportation Solutions in Region 4. The scope of the US 191 northbound passing lane extension Spanish Valley project is to extend an existing northbound passing lane from milepost 115.2 to milepost 116.2. The region recently completed a corridor vision study to help define the location as a priority based on optimizing mobility and crash history. So you can see located here on a map, Moab in the upper left-hand corner, Spanish Valley, and the location of the project in this lower right-hand corner. Zooming in, showing where the passing lane would be included. And our request today is a motion to add the US 191 northbound passing lane extension Spanish Valley project to the current STIP as detailed.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. That was pretty quick. Do we have a second?
Have to hurry.
Do we have a second?
In honor of our person that travels this, I second the motion.
Wonderful. Any comments or questions on this? Seeing none, I look for a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, if any. Thank you. This item number 6 passes.
Item 6A-7, the S-Line extension from McClellan Station to Highland Drive. This is a scoping funding addition from our TTIF program and also some local funding. The scope of the S-Line extension project is to extend the S-Line from the current eastern end of the line from McClellan Street to the proposed end of line just east of Highland Drive and construct a new end of line station. The proposed funding includes an increase of current construction estimate and extends from the current end of line to the east side of Highland Drive. The additional scope includes double tracking, right-of-way, additional operational infrastructure to maintain a 15-minute frequency, reconstruction of Simpson Avenue, utility relocation and installation of 2 traffic signals, and upgrading 1 existing traffic signal. The proposed funding addition will place the end of line in a location that serves future needs of the S-Line and transit in the area. One of the projects we've talked about the last couple of months.
I'm aching to make this motion since I was the one that made the motion to delay it.
Let's look at the picture, then we're going to let you do that.
I'll just turn the picture on and you can go. Our request today is a motion to approve adding funding to the S-Line extension from McClellan Street to east of Highland Drive as detailed.
I'd like to make that motion, and then I'll have a comment after the vote.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, a second. Okay. Please, Natalie.
After the vote.
Oh, after the vote. Okay. Any questions before we take a vote?
I will just go ahead, and I have asked a lot of questions about this, but I want to make it clear I really do support the fact that this is where the line needs to go, and it may not have the ridership today that some people have noted, but it has a lot of potential. It also has the potential for tying in a future rail line that may be built And I hope one of the things that we have learned from this project is we need to ask a lot of questions on these rail projects in the future. We need to be efficient, and we need to look to where some people around the world have saved money by doing things in a particular manner. But I support it because it's something we absolutely positively need. The only other thing I'll point out is that, we bought Alaska. I mentioned this to the other commissioners yesterday. We bought Alaska for $7 million. And we know how big Alaska is, and so we're buying 1,000 feet for another $7 million, right? It shows you what the cost of inflation is. And that's one of the things I think we have to watch out in the future. I think there's a lesson to be learned here. But I will be voting for it.
Thank you. So,
Mr. Chair.
Please.
I think this is a perfect example for some of us that haven't served that long on this commission, and I've been here a little while. But if it's a perfect example of seeing something and having a question and saying pause, which we did, and then getting out of the office and having those that helped us walk us through the entire project, and we have a greater vision, we understand exactly where you're going, and so it becomes, for me, an easy process to say, I'll support this totally because of that effort by not only UTA but UDOT together, standing next to me as they explain the whole thing. This is a good example of how this works. So,
thank you. We have a motion and a second. Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, if any. Number 7A passes. Now, Natalie, I know you had a comment.
I wanted to thank the commissioners for that unanimous vote. I also wanted to thank UDOT. I thought this process was terrific, and Josh, you did an amazing job helping us walk through that, the work session yesterday, the extra one that we had. I was really impressed with Ethan at UTA and John Larson with Salt Lake City. There's something interesting going on here. We've had 33 of 35 years of net in-migration to Utah. In the 2020 census, we're the fastest growing state, growing by 18.4% over the decade. The nation grew by 7.4. That's a 2.5 multiple. And the thing that's happening is we're bumping up against constraints. You just can't have the steep slopes and, water and public lands that we have in so much of this state without hitting these constraints for these transportation corridors for our population, and we have to embrace transit in a bigger way. And the notion that UDOT is a part of that change, that investment, those efficiencies in the construction and whatnot, I think is very positive for our state. And I think we just have to get ready to continue to invest and continue to change, keep an open mind. And I did look up the number because of some of the comments, but we put $910 million last year of sales tax money into roads. This is almost $1 billion of subsidy for roads. It's not the users, it's you're buying milk and you're paying for roads. You're buying Levi's, you're paying for roads. And so this notion that, we subsidize transit, but we don't subsidize roads, I don't believe that. I think it's all part of creating life quality for our residents. And so, and please correct me if I'm wrong on the number, but that's how I looked it up. So I'm just excited that we're trying to do things right and well for our community, both for safety, for life quality, and for the strength of the economy. And this was an important, I think, moment for the commission.
Thank you. And as we grow, like out northwest and the Quarry Ride Freeway, all the different things, the roads won't solve alone, so what are we doing in addition to a road now to say, okay, where are we going to put places that makes it easier for the buses to get out there, other things, transit?
It just, our behavior ultimately has to change.
We have to look at some of those things, so thank you. Okay, so I believe, did we take a vote? We did, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 7A passes.
Thank you. Our next item, 6A-8, this is the Utah Trail Network UTN SR7 Southern Parkway Trail Project. This is a new project through the UTN program. This project will construct 2 new segments of separated paved trails along SR7, or the Southern Parkway, east of St. George. These trail segments will focus on community connections between Desert Canyon Parkway at the south end and Long Valley at the north end. This project will connect an existing and proposed trails in the area, including a TIF active project, PIN 20510, and help expand the active transportation options within this rapidly growing part of the state. So located here on our map, the same map that we looked at yesterday, the two sections, the north end here, and the southern segment. And our request today is a motion to add the UTN SR7 Southern Parkway Trail project to the current STIP as detailed.
Make a motion. Pass that.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
This alleviates some redundancy, yet connects a trail that's so important in that particular area, especially where they're building along that corridor. So I think this is a great move.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, if any? Item number 8A passes. And now these next ones are for information. We won't take a vote, but we'd love to hear about these projects.
Thank you. 6A-9, this is the Springville 800 South to 800 East roundabout. This is a funding addition through the MAG, the Mountain Land Association of Governments, MPO. The scope of the Springville 800 South to 800 East roundabout project is to construct a new roundabout at the intersection of 800 South and 800 East. A new roundabout will improve flow and allow the addition of a fifth leg to the south, creating a new connection. The MPO board reviewed and approved this item on July 10th, 2025. Located here on our map, the current roadway configuration. And then a projected design. And again, this item is for information only.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item 6A-10, the Federal Transit Authority NEPA Assignment Pursuit Project. This is a new project being funded from our TTIF program for $250,000. UDOT's successful management of the FHWA NEPA assignment program has cut environmental reviews timelines by up to 12 months, leading to more efficient project delivery and significant cost savings. Expanding UDOT's NEPA responsibilities for projects administered by FTA and possibly other Department of Transportation divisions is a logical step to further improve statewide efficiency. This funding will be used for assembling the application packet, creating and updating the needs guidance, development of MOIs in coordination with FTA. This is information only. This project has been approved by the Deputy Director Authority given to the Utah Transportation Commission Policy 01-01. Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Please, Carlos.
We're preparing this information. In order for us to be able to proceed with this, we're going to have to get legislative approval. It's waiving our sovereign immunity in these areas. So they were really good to work with the legislature when we did that, specifically for the roads portion, Federal Highway Administration. And now we're looking to go back to the legislature next session. And if we get that approval, we'll be able to proceed forward. But we need this information to be ready for that.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay. Our next item, 6A-11, are project combinations. We have a project combination in Region 2, a second project in Region 2, and a third project in Region 2. These individual projects have previously been approved through Commission action. Project combinations are done to provide efficiencies in project delivery. Again, this is information only. Moving to 6B, this is the draft fiscal year 2026 to 2031 statewide transportation improvement program, or the STIP, the submittal for FHWA and FTA for approval. The draft 2026-2031 State Transportation Improvement Program has been prepared and summarized to reflect guidance and suggestions resulting from region priorities in the April Commission workshops. As the June 27, 2025 Commission meeting, approval was given to publish the draft STIP for public comment. Notice was given in local newspapers with information regarding how to comment. The draft STIP was also open for review and public comment from June 28th through August 2nd on the UDOT website. This website also contained an electronic form for comment submittals. Comments were received regarding the STIP by the department and the MPOs. We'll come back to a motion in a second. Just to summarize the comments received, we had the active transportation and complete streets for protected, separated bike lanes on as many corridors as possible, improved pedestrian access and signage for trails and destinations, and a need for safer, continuous connections between cities and neighborhoods. A preference for rail over highway expansions, opposition of some highway widenings, and support for state-sponsored passenger rail linking Salt Lake to Provo, Moab, and smaller towns. And safety concerns about surface level rail and density in dense urban cores. Call for grade separations in the Rio Grande Plan. Also, transit first and multimodal emphasis for the Front Runner South extension to Payson, Center Street interchange improvements, demand for UVX-like services, higher bus frequencies, and a potential tracks expansion, and a need for integrated planning with the Rio Grande Plan and high-capacity transit. And then we had some corridor and project level comments along the Utah Lake Trail, Parkway Trail, Payson Main Street Exchange, SR 73, Pioneer Crossing improvements, Northern Corridor, the Honeymoon Trail Road, Warner Valley Road, Front Runner 2X, and then reconnecting communities, the Rio Grande Plan, and support for the long-term safety and neighborhood connection. Included in the packet are the 40 pages of public comments that we received as well. Going back to our fact sheet, our request today is a motion to approve the submittal of the draft fiscal year 2026 to 2031 STIP to federal highways and federal transit as for approval.
Mr. Chairman, I would make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Natalie. Any comments or questions before the motion? Seeing all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any. Thank you. A lot of work to that point, and keep it going. It's almost there.
Thank you.
That would be, so item number 6B passes.
Our next item, 6C, the Utah Broadband Center, is an informational only item. As discussed yesterday in the staff update meeting, the Utah Broadband Center, established in 2021, is an initiative dedicated to expanding reliable, high-speed internet access across the state. It serves as a central hub for planning, coordinating, and implementing broadband infrastructure projects throughout Utah. During the 2025 Utah General Legislative Session, House Bill 530 was enacted to facilitate the strategic relocation of the Utah Broadband Center from the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity to UDOT. And then we have our Utah Code 7219-401 and 5, talking about the Broadband Center may approve an application for subgranted funds if the Broadband Center has informed the Transportation Commission about the application, and after the Broadband Center completes a competitive application process for subgranted funds, but before the Broadband Center notifies the applicant of the award, the Broadband Center shall present to the Transportation Commission on the subgrant award. The Utah Broadband Center has completed the application period and has met with representatives from the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, or NTIA, and is now ready to publish the list of the selected awardees. A summary of the application's awards are as follows. We had the 1,461 project areas. Those project areas contained anywhere from one location to almost 1,200 locations in those project areas. We received just under 1,100 total applications, covering 384 of our project areas. And through the benefit of the bargain process, we increased that to almost 460 project areas where infrastructure could be placed. After the benefit of the bargain award, the proposals includes, we have the fiber optics to the premises of 37% of the BSLs, or the broadband serviceable locations, representing 67 of the grant amount, wireless at 20% of the BSLs with 27% of the total grant, and satellite 43%. Now, as discussed yesterday, this is a pretty quick process that we've been working with NTIA, and we had this ready this fact sheet ready so we could publish. And at this point in time, we're just not ready to present the list of the awardees. Our next steps will be to finalize that and be able to present that back to the Commission with diligent coordination with NTIA. Located here on our map, you can see the different types of technology. And again, this is information only, and we'll be coordinating with the Commission within the shortly with what the next steps will be.
So I'm assuming what you're saying is we're still waiting to hear back from
NTIA. We've been, one of the last emails that I saw last night was at 3:37 this morning, trying to work through some of the questions back and forth. So
we'll be having continued discussions,
and we'll be presenting that back to the Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, please?
No, I'm ready to make a motion.
This is just, I think,
just informational only.
Information only.
Right.
I appreciate what they've done, especially down in the southern part of the state, where we really need that connectivity.
Especially to keep you connected to St. George.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, by the way, Myron wanted me to let the Commission know that those Zoom meetings for the Dixie meetings are open to everybody on the Commission, not just me.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on this one? Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, thank you.
Before we go to the next one, I forget, but lest I forget, the minutes are always fabulous, Heather. Thank you. They, don't make them so good that he sees he needs more money, though. So somehow we got to mask that a little bit, but they're very good. Thank you for all the time and effort, not only to the minutes, but for helping to arrange with others that help you for everything about our meeting. So thank you very much. Okay, we are now on item number 7, Ross, corridor preservation.
Good morning, Commissioners. So in the May 30th, 2025 financial reports for the budget and obligations for corridor preservation, our balance forward from the prior month was $76.6 million. Our total revenue for the month of May was $1.179 million. Our expenses were $41,000. Our property purchases in the month of May, $3.2 million, leaving a fund balance of $74.624 million. Our funds obligated but not yet dispersed in the process of closing is $35,764,000, leaving a fund balance of $38.8 million. And today we're presenting acquisition targets valued at $2.149 million, which would leave a balance of approved applications of $36.7 billion. And I don't believe these financials yet report the $20 million in additional funding from the legislature. On our activities for the year, we continue to be higher than ever with both summer and winter activities here, and the revenue for corridor preservation comes from 50% of the rental car tax program. So tourism has a significant impact on the revenue for corridor preservation, plus interest income and property management income. The first item we have on the agenda is 7A, and it is the Ralph L. Larson and Blanche Larson property as trustees in a revocable family trust from 2012. Ralph and Blanche Larson have both passed away. The trust is represented by Deanna Alger and Renee Spencer. The subject property is located at 506 North Geneva Road in Provo. The property is a single-family residential property. The residence includes 1,831 square foot home. The Family Trust representatives have reached out to the region. They are aware that the portion of the property is within the alignment of the future Geneva Road expansion. The total appraisal is $710,000. The land value is $486,000. And improvements are $223,000. We include a 3% contingency if we have any minor modifications, and our total request is $731,000. And as you can see, we've changed the format of the reporting, which we'll do on all cases, so that it's easier to follow the numbers. The property, subject property is in Provo. And then you can see here where it is on the alignment. And one of the reasons for purchasing a property like this is that if we don't, there's high probability a developer can come in and put 6 to 8 units of condo projects on this property that we would then have to take down part of when we widen the road. And here you can see a closer look. And we rent these at market rent based on the appraised value until the project's ready for the demolition.
Okay.
So with that, I would request a motion to approve.
So do we have any questions or a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any other comments before we vote or questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, if any? Thank you. Item number 7A is approved.
Thank you. Item 7B, the property is owned by Daryl Sheets under 2 different LLCs. The subject property comprises 3 parcels of land identified in Weber County, located at 3051 South, 5100 West, Hopper, Utah. The combined land area is 995,804 square feet, or 22.8 acres. The property owners have reached out to the region. They are aware that the portion of the property is within the alignment of the future Phase 3 of SR 177, formerly known as West Davis Corridor. The total appraised value is $1.376 million. The land, the dry portion of the land is $837,000, and a wetlands portion is $539,000 in value, with a 3% contingency and a request of $1.418 million. The property is located up in the Hopper area, just south of Ogden and north of Salt Lake. You can see on the map, and then you can see the impacts here, and you can see the wetland areas under part of this property. Oops. And then if we scroll in, you can see that further, and the wetland areas you can see on this image here are a fairly good portion of the property. And we typically have an obligation to preserve those. And with that, I'd like to request a motion to approve 7B.
Mr. Chair? Please. I'll move approval of this, and with all deference to my colleagues in Hooper, that I will make a motion to approve this.
I knew that was coming. Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it for the good old Hooper residents.
Upper. Okay, so any further questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, if any? So item 7B passes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for all your efforts.
Thank you.
Oh, it's now that beloved time of our meeting, the dynamic duo of Leif and Peter. Administrative rule, item number 8. He said, is that really me? Yeah, that's you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I forgot who was first, so it looks like I am. Okay, so another opportunity to review some rules. Both of the rules that we have before you today are UDOT rules. So we're here for review and comments, and love to hear any thoughts you might have. This R909-2, this is one of our motor carrier rules, Utah size and weight. It outlines the procedures and requirements for the size and weight of motor carriers that use Utah's highway system. It deals with lengths and of particular equipment and lighting and police escorts and when you have to take certain safety precautions, have flags and so forth. As we reviewed this rule, and we've kind of been prompted a little bit to kind of clean up this rule a little bit, one of the reasons why it's taken a little bit of time to do that is because it's about 22 pages long, and there's a lot of technical detail and so forth. So we've taken the time to do that now, and that'll be in time for our 5-year review. Some of the key things that we've done is to clarify and add some definitions. Okay. We've cleaned up references to the bridge formula. The bridge formula basically tells how much weight can a bridge sustain as you have your axles loaded up and based on the spacing of those axles and so forth. And there's actually a couple of different bridge formulas that we have, and we kind of confuse the names in our rule. So we clean that up to make sure it's clear which bridge formula we're talking about throughout the rule. We also cleaned up some of our tables. If you look at Table 1, for example, and I'll scroll through here in just a minute, there's some significant changes just to make it clear. We want the folks that are driving these trucks, the companies that are putting forth the effort and the capital to do this, to know what's required and to do it safely. We want the roads to be safe. So generally that's the purpose of this rule, to make sure things are safe out there on the road. We also had some unclear things on our pilot and police escorts. They were kind of off in different sections and spread throughout the rule, and so we consolidated the requirements for having those pilot and police escorts into one single table and one section. And so I'm just going to walk through here, and I'll again, it is a long one, but I'll just show you a few examples here. And you can see our bridge formula. There's a main bridge formula we just clarified. We actually took out the bridge formula from the actual rule and instead referred to the U.S. code where that rule is to make sure that people know that that's the bridge formula we're talking about. You can see some changes to some of the technical definitions, like a dromedary unit. Our definition didn't quite follow what federal statute had, so we made sure that that was in harmony with that. Let's see. The non-divisible bridge table formula. Again, that was a formula that's a little bit different, and wanted to make sure that that was clear when we're talking about the normal bridge formula versus the non-divisible bridge table formula. A stinger steered, we added a definition for that. Bonus points for any commissioner that already knew what that meant. There, I sure didn't as I was going through. There's a lot of technical stuff here. This is that table 1 that I was talking about. There was a lot of paragraph of information, and it was just hard to get through and read, and so we trimmed that down and made it so that it was just easier to access and to know what is required. And again, you can go through here and see some of these things. I like. This is an example. We just kind of restated some things in a much more simple way with regards to the load of a tire. It's just what is on the manufactured, it's on the wall of the tire, the manufacturer's suggestion there, and it just basically says, hey, we're going to follow that. And we had all this additional language that kind of hinted to that, but just making things simpler and making sure people know what's required of them. That's extremely important, that folks know what's required of them, and they can't be dinged because of unclear language and so forth. So anyway, this is that table that I was talking about for the police escorts and pilot vehicles. There's a daylight hour requirement and a nighttime requirement, and we've combined those into one table. And that was part of why it was in different places. The nighttime requirement was in one place, and the daylight requirement was in another place. And then you had some other little odds and ends that were in other sections, and just brought it together in this one table, help people know how to travel with regards to police escorts and the pilot cars. Let's see. Hopefully this is going to be better. And I'll also just point out, you need to know this, that these changes, there's probably a few changes in there that are substantive with the police escorts and pilot cars, but these changes were brought to the Motor Carrier Advisory Board, which UDOT has. And so I want you to know that Motor Carrier Advisory Board has folks from the industry. It includes the Utah Trucking Association. The chair of that, actually the longtime chair, I think for 20 years, is Don Ipson, Senator Don Ipson, who's worked in the industry and so forth. So I want you to know that these were reviewed and talked about with the industry. So anyway, did you guys have any specific questions, anything you wanted me to look at or address?
I would just say that having already worked through that group, if we hadn't, and there's a problem, we'll know about it anyway.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're already taking care of that.
We are.
And it looks to me like we've made some significant improvements.
Yeah, it's just going to be much more accessible, much more readable. And it's not just for our truckers, it's also for our motor carrier division. This is what they go to know what they have to require to folks. And so there are a lot of cases where I would read something and I wouldn't know what it means, and I would say, well, what does this mean? And they would kind of explain, and I was like, well, let's write it that way. Let's write what we mean, and we just cleaned up a lot of things. And again, this has been cobbled together over 20, 30 years. So you'll see this with the state code. Sometimes you just got to do a rewrite because you've added to it and added to it and added to it. You got to take it down and just kind of rewrite and organize it so that it makes sense. So, and that's kind of what we're doing here.
Any other questions, please?
Yeah, if you've been working with the motor carrier people, and especially Don Ipson, I'm satisfied that you've done the right thing.
Awesome. And we're grateful to have that advisory board. So they're very active.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we need a motion on that?
That one, is that an FYI, or is that just FYI? Thanks for checking, keeping me honest. Peter.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Peter Asplund with Policy and Legislative Affairs, and sure, we're basking in the sun now, but soon it'll be ski season again, and we're going to be ready because we're going to have a new renamed traction law rule. It's now going to be called Adverse Weather Traction Requirements. It's Rule 920-6.
We'll take all the moisture we can get in southern Utah, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
bring it on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're all hoping that this traction law will be in effect many times during the next season. So, the reason for redoing this rule is because we, in HB 196 during the last session, a bill called Vehicle Traction Amendments clarified that UDOT has the authority to require specific equipment on vehicles during bad weather, and a new thing added to that statute was also predicted bad weather, and that also that it clarifies that it's an infraction not to use the equipment when notice is given by UDOT through traffic control devices on the roads. And that statute was done after working with bipartisan sponsors and also all the ski resorts and a lot of constituents. And also, as part of negotiating that bill, an agreement to relook at our rule if that bill passed, because some of the ski resorts wanted a lot more detailed thing in a statute that, in our view, didn't really belong in a statute, but could be addressed better in rule. So this new rule, let's see if I can. This rule we're doing is a repeal and reenact. So you'll see this, a version of this rule existed, but we were rewriting it to make it a lot more clear and everything. So many changes that it was easier just to, there's another document that will be submitted that repeals the old one, and then that's why this is all underlined language. So it makes it look like it's all new things, but it's, it actually is just clarifying, most of it is clarifying what was already the rule, but was difficult to sometimes enforce in the past, and police agencies were kind of unwilling to give tickets because it was kind of difficult to understand. So this is if you want to understand the difference between three-peak mountain snowflake tires and M+S tires, this is the rule for you. So here is, I guess, an overview of this rule is as follows, that UDOT is allowed to do, in the past it was 2 different types of traction segments. Now it's 3 classes. So we can do a road segment and say it's one of 3 classes that needs traction control devices during a predicted or adverse weather. And the first class is for commercial vehicles. So some roads will just be for vehicles with gross vehicle weight rating of over 12,000 pounds, that they will have to do we call it traction devices, but that really just means chains, studs, or there's a thing called snow socks that aren't very often used, but kind of another, kind of like a chain on drive tires. The second class, which also already previously existed, adds it to all vehicles, and so requires regular vehicles to either have certain kinds of tires with 4-wheel drive. If you don't have 4-wheel drive, then you have to have the snow tires, the 3-peak mountain snow tires, or you need to have chains or traffic control devices. And then this new third segment, though, or third class of segment, is mostly going to be at first just be in the Cottonwood Canyons, and that is also requires a minimum tread depth on either your M+S tires or 3-peak mountain snowflake tires of 5/32, and there was engineering studies that our engineers found that demonstrated, which isn't really hard to imagine, that having sufficient traction on your snow tires actually makes them safer, and that there's increased crashes with bald tires, and it's the traffic control devices, which are broadly defined as kind of any kind of sign or things, but also very specifically the variable message signs that we have will notify the public when it's predicted bad weather or it's bad weather. And that's one, besides this third thing that requires tread depth, the other big change is that we can do it when it's predicted adverse weather, so within 24 hours, so that people don't go up the canyon and then the storm hits, and then they're notified they have to do traction devices, but they have no way to get down. So hopefully that's going to be a good change. There's been extra money provided to law enforcement. Now the law is very clear that it's an infraction not to meet these traction requirements when notice has been given by UDOT, and we promised all. And just so you know, I guess like Leif mentioned on the past rule, this rule we sent out to a lot of different constituencies to get their opinion. Law enforcement, the ski resorts, the sponsors of the legislation, so that they could pass it to any constituents that had shown concerns over our traction law. And we responded to every comment, and I think pretty good consensus that some people wanted it to go further and to be even stricter, but almost no one, everyone thought it was a good improvement and are excited about it. So I don't know if you have any questions. But.
Commissioner, any questions, comments at all? Please.
In looking what you're doing here, does this mean that we will continue the program we had last year? Remember, they gave little stickers for your vehicles.
Yeah, the sticker program isn't required by the rule or in statute, but we're still doing the sticker program. And this third, just so you know, to get the sticker that started kind of before this new rule, you had to meet the requirements of this Class 3 now that requires the tread depth. That was already part of the sticker program, that you had to meet that, check tread depth to get the sticker.
So, and there's money now so that there can be law enforcement at the base of the canyons to stop some of these folks who are coming up with two-wheel drive.
and encourage them to money for police agencies to encourage them to enforce
they will stop them.
Do enforcement.
It may be nice you're giving out tickets, but as some of us who travel up these canyons in the wintertime, when they get to these certain points where the road gets a little tougher and they spin out or something, giving them a ticket doesn't help all the people that are piled up down the roadway. So if they are not qualified to go any further, they'll be turned around.
Yeah.
Now, they had a pilot program, I think they did at Parley's 2 or 3 years ago, where they were turning people around who were, obviously were very, very upset. And some of them had rental cars. So is the rental car industry being brought into this program so that they know and they can advise our visitors when they come what they're going to need to do to be able to drive up these canyons?
This is as much as I understand. My understanding is all the rental car companies have been invited to participate, and some are more willing than others.
Am I going to get Josh in trouble again?
Josh might have some more information.
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh Van Jura, Director of Trails and Transit Group. Yes, this rule was coordinated, and the sticker program specifically has been working with rental car companies. Interestingly, most of the rental car companies have a 5:30 seconds safety rule on tire replacement already. And there's been an outreach through Ski Utah to make sure that people are both aware of this rule, and if you go to our website, you can see a list of companies that are actively participating in the sticker program.
Okay. Because what I'm getting at, I think there is a true safety hazard for people who are coming from out of the area, especially people coming from warm climates who know nothing other than I need a four-wheel drive vehicle. They don't understand the four-wheel drive vehicle is not enough once it's really in bad condition, but they're given this vehicle with kind of the tacit warranty. Yeah, you can drive this to Park City or to Alta or someplace else, and really they can't get the traction with them, even though they're four-wheel drive.
Many rental cars actually come with a sticker in the windshield at this point.
All right. Then thank you. You answered my question.
Yeah, good question. Good. Anything else on this? Other questions? Anything else you want to present? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking time to present to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Bring us up to speed. Okay, so Let's see here. Who's going to, Rob, are you going to present on the HOE? Okay, because I know you did yesterday, so we're on information item 9A.
Rob White, Region 1 Director. Thank you for having me talk about this again. I'm not going to delve into it too deep. I think we covered it pretty well yesterday, but there's a couple of things I did want to cover. One thing I wanted to clarify that I did not say yesterday is that this is only for the southbound traffic. It's not south and northbound. It's only one direction. So you'll still be able to use your pass northbound, Commissioner D. So, again, this project is a new interchange project. The one thing that I didn't also mention yesterday is it's also including a pedestrian overpass that goes from the Farmington Frontrunner station over to the lagoon area. That was included as part of this project, so that will be a great benefit for folks that are using Frontrunner. So that's included in this project. That part will be built towards the end of the project. But again, we are taking down this section, the one zone that is right in this area around Shepherd Lane, which is just in the very north end of Farmington. And again, we talked about this. The commission has the ability, it has the requirement to set the toll rates, and through our policy, when the commission executive director chooses or decides whether to close a section of express lanes or not, and then he also chooses whether to inform the commission if it's more serious. Here is again our areas, and we're right up here between Farmington and Kaysville. And I know it's been a long meeting, and most of us want to move on with our day. But are there any questions that you might have, other than what we talked about yesterday, or any further clarifications?
Any comments, questions, Commission? No, I think you let us know that we know what's going on that. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Hey, Carlos, we're at item 9B, and I don't know, are you going to take this? We have a chart. Some are yours, some are mine. I might say that I've talked to all the commissioners, and I really appreciate, because they all said, whatever I can do, and we could have shifted things around. So we kind of want to make sure we had some assignments. And so maybe I'll let you walk through that.
Sure. So we have a table here, and it's in the package, right, Heather? So as time has gone on, there's been various other associations, boards, commissions that we've wanted to be able to have better coordination between. And so we have several different organizations, and the commissioners have historically been assigned to participate in those committees. And so Jim, the chair, and I have discussed this. Some of them by statute I do, but most of them are done by the chair of the commission. And so I know Jim has reached out to all of you. We've made some changes to those assignments, and those assignments are shown on this table. And I just want to say thank you. Please look at these as, first of all, you're volunteers. And I appreciate you doing this. So I would say these are to the best of your ability. And I will selfishly say that this commission meeting is the most important one of those assignments. So hopefully you prioritize the commission above these other ones. But I guess, I don't know, Mr. Chair, unless there's questions to these. And
why don't you go back to that little thing that's on the right there, and maybe some might not.
Oh, okay. So our new member.
Yeah.
So you can see Paul has been appointed by the governor, actually went through the Senate committee hearing last week, made it through committee, and he will be up for Senate confirmation next Wednesday. I've had a chance to speak with Paul on the phone, never met him. He's from Cache County, and so we made the the big leap that maybe him being part of the Cache County MPO was the right assignment for Paul. But we look forward to inviting Paul to be part of this commission, and expect that he'll be joining us in September.
In fact, he was out of town or would have been.
He was, yeah. He had a previously planned trip. He would have been here. Was the timing sometimes doesn't work out the way any of us want it. But he had a previously planned trip. He works in the insurance industry, and but is committed to participating on this commission.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on that? You all have that. We've talked about it, and thanks for your service and willing to represent us on those. So thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Let's see. I think
we have somebody take that list up.
I'm sorry. He wants to. Well, can you scroll that for us just so they can see in front of us here? There we go.
So I've lost it a couple of times here, but
do you need us to go scroll up?
You want to start? We can start at the top and go down.
Yeah, let's just inch our way down. Heather, are you driving? Is that okay?
Okay, Heather will take it down just slowly. They can kind of see who's where, and
or you'll just send me one.
Just let you look as she scrolls through there. And any questions? Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Heather.
And we can email that table to each of the commissioners if
Make sure we do that, because we had tweaked it and it's just not updated.
We'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have committee reports. Let's start down in the southeast part of our southern part of our state now, because you're covering east.
About the only thing I've got to report is that golf is really good in Monticello, and we're really dry. I really appreciate all the improvements to the road between Spanish Fork and San Juan County that have been made, and I'm hoping that likewise has been done between Spanish Fork and St. George as well.
Okay, thank you. Are they having to paint the golf course green, or is it still growing?
Golf course is green.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'll be there next week.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'll just report that the Wasatch Front Regional Council has been working with all of their communities to update the land use planning and thinking for the transportation plan. Interestingly, the number of centers that they have been looking at, so these are future city and town centers, has grown from 199 to 316 in their new planning process. Just shows the urbanization of our state. And my understanding is MAG is updating their land use numbers as well.
Yep, we will.
Yeah,
I think that leads into Carlos and
we had a MAG meeting last night. Jim and I were there, and they've also increased those centers as well.
They have. I might mention we have another. It's been a little bit, the one where we never meet, but I haven't. It's for Sandy HTRZ coming up here soon, so we'll look forward to reporting back on that. And Kevin, anything you want to report?
I've attended several meetings with Wasatch Front, and they have completed theirs, and they've had their public comment and have referred their public comments on into UDOT. So I think we have that. So I just appreciate staff and sitting down and working with me on several things this last couple of weeks. It's helped my understanding and helped me be able to make better decisions. So thank all you that spent the time and educated me.
Thank you. I might mention we go on to Brad. We had the semi-annual audit committee meeting, and that was my first one, and they were bringing me up to speed and Shane basically kind of went through everything, and they do, as you do, he comes and reports to you, and he does an amazing job.
Yeah, so it's an audit advisory committee that the commission chair has typically been a member of. It's myself and the two deputy directors as well, and we receive the reports from our auditor, our audit director, Shane Young, and he reports on both the internal audits, the external audits, and the performance audits. and the commission sees the reports on those performance audits, because it's your responsibility to actually select the areas for those performance audits every year. And you'll see recommendations in November, and then we ask for your vote on that in December. So those are the three areas, and we meet quarterly as an audit advisory committee.
Thank you. Okay. Please, add any things you'd like to bring up today.
Thank you. Appreciate staff and some of the concerns that we have had and their response to those so quickly. I also received a lot of the emails from Heather about these meetings around the state, and there are some that I'm planning on being there. I've blocked out that calendar. I think it's a good exercise for all of us to be able to understand how that goes. Had a great opportunity a few weeks ago to meet with Rob and his crew up in Wellsville in Cache Valley as we looked at the Highway 8991 overpass, intersection. And somewhat incognito, I just went up and walked around and listened to people comment. Ran into one person who asked me, "I don't recognize you. Who are you?" So had a good conversation with a couple of people up there. But I know that they are concerned about that. Rob and I have had that conversation, and I think the solution to that looked something that will be a short-term or situation, but they're still concerned a little bit about that. But I appreciate Rob letting me go through and learn about that. That was a great exercise for me. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for being in all those places. Appreciate it. Please, Tom.
Yeah, I have obviously not been on a committee yet. I'm looking forward to serving on that committee, and I have to obviously take that same opportunity all the rest of you to thank the staff. I mean, this is one of the greatest staffs I've ever worked with, and I got to call out my friend Josh, because I've given him a real bad time about some of this transit stuff, and Jim Golden's been real good in filling me in, and that just shows you, the more and more you have all these great people thinking about things. This is why we are able to make this great statement about how we deliver here in Utah better than other people do. And with the figures Natalie points out to us, I mean, we have this great challenge ahead of us to try to keep up with the number of people that have decided they want to join us here in Utah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Carlos, anything from you or Deputy or Heather or anyone else?
No, I don't have anything. Just thank you for your time here for this meeting.
Thank you. Ditto on staff. We interact with all of you, all the regions. We'll get things I'll get things even though I'm Region 3 for Region 2, and we pass them on, and with a smile I say, here you go, even though I know they probably responded 5 times already, and here's another letter on the same thing, but always just grateful they take it, they talk, they get back, and really appreciate the professionalism that everyone uses with staff. Plus, your friendship. It's great to get to interact with all of you. Just to let you know, upcoming meetings, it looks like we'll be in Kanab in September, and November in Moab. So we picked a couple good places. It starts to get colder to come visit, and maybe next year Monticello. So, but anyway, with that, Heather, did I forget anything? I really just looked at you to make sure. Okay, I look for a motion to
adjourn.
Okay, non-debatable.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Thank you.